Hello everybody, welcome to the Tenant Farmer. My name is David. I am the proud tenant on this Calmsden Estate farm. A farm that we've been farming now for about 10 years, give or take. And we are going to be fortunate enough to continue for about another 10 years as well. This is a National Trust farm. This whole estate and the whole beautiful area of Calmsden that we live in the UK here is part of a National Trust estate. Which means they own the land, they own all of these houses around here and try to preserve the beauty of these old buildings. But they allow people like myself to rent the buildings and to rent the farmland as well. I am a tenant farmer. My family and I have been here, like I say, for 10 years. We've got another 10-year lease just signed into. Very fortunate to be able to renew this lease because tenancy farming is a very hard thing to sustain and to stay in because it's very competitive as well. So we are very, very, very fortunate to have this place. We farm this Calmsden farm of about 250 acre. It is a mixed farm, as you can see. We do have cattle. We do farm dairy Holsteins here, and we also have big limousine cattle on the hill there for beef. We do aim to produce our own beef here, which we can sell into both abattoirs, and also we're starting to do a little bit of diversification with beef boxes as well into local farm shops. But that's something we will get onto. The farm is run primarily by myself. I do have my family who do help out now and again as and when we need to. It is not very big. We do have about 200-ish acres of arable. At the moment, it's a little bit less than that. It's around 180 acres with the rest in various grass. Over the past few years, there have been stables on here, which we've just got rid of. We've also just introduced pigs onto the farm as well. Just behind us in the pasture over there, there is some free-range pigs, about 50 all in, which we will be hoping to fatten up and to again include into this this produce range that we are able to supply into the local industries and businesses around the area. Like I say, we are very small. Our equipment, for the most part, there is pretty old, but it does a job. We're going to have a bit of a look through that today. We're also going to have a tour around some of the land that we own here, some of the things that we need to get on with ahead of time, and some of the diversification that we're going to be bringing in throughout the course of the next 6 to 8 months. You're going to be joining me on this journey, though, as we progress through. We'll have the good days. We'll no doubt have some bad days. And we'll have everything in between, because that's how it rolls around here. That is farming at the end of the day, and that's what it all looks like. We're going to have a look through the main fleet, though, for the moment. Our main staple transport is, of course, the Defender. This is a relatively newer Defender, a TD5. We do lease these, so we've just exchanged it now. We used to run them right down into the ground, but financially it's working out better for us because the cost to buy them just to lease them at the moment. So that's working out very well indeed. We have 3 tractors. We've always had a 3-tractor system, really. We try to look after them and maintain them as much as possible. And right now, our fleet couldn't go wrong, really. It couldn't miss a step. It's got everything we need. This is our main loader tractor. We are a massive farm for the most part there. This is a 5435 Massey in a beautiful silver, actually. This does everything we need. We don't need anything bigger. Often thought about telehandlers and often realized the price of them, it's not going to happen. So we stick with the 5400 series, and it's a flying tractor for us. It does a great, great job. We've got our main workhorse here. This is a beautiful machine. We've had this one for about 4.5, 5 years now. We never buy tractors new. We just don't. I don't see the sense in it, really, especially with the price going up. There's enough value to be had when you look around and take your time to invest. And this is a prime example. A 5470 Massey Ferguson comes in around about 155 horsepower there. Does everything we need it to. Does all the big cultivation jobs for, well, what I would classify as big cultivation jobs. And behind it is pulling our new to us big baler as well. This is our round baler, the Coon. We do our own silage here, with the exception of the wrapping. We have to get a contractor in to help us with that. But yeah, we bale our own silage. But that's something you're probably going to get to see us do soon. We do have some grass on the deck that we need to get going with. So that will be for us later on today. But yeah, beautiful tractor. We'll see more about that as we get through it. And this old girl, well, the 1890's been with us for a long time. Look at the condition it's in. I love this tractor. This was the first tractor that I bought way back when we first moved onto this farm, and it's something that we never really were going to get rid of, to be honest. We've had a few smaller 2-wheel drive tractors as well, but the Fiat 1890 is perfect for us. It does a lot of smaller jobs, pulls the feeder wagon around. We'll stick it onto a tedder and we'll do other bits and pieces like that, but it's just perfect for us, really. Absolutely perfect. We have lots of other bits of equipment here, nothing too big really. I think this is our widest bit of cultivation equipment by a long stretch here. Just a very simple 6-meter harrow. We've got our rake, we've got our front press for the drill. We've got a bale trailer. We actually had to get a little bit of respraying work done on that, which is why the bale sides aren't attached at the moment. That'll get sorted out. We've got our small baler. This is our John Deere baler. We do, like I mentioned, that we did used to have horses on here. The estate used to have a field that they kept for themselves, and they would run horses on there. So we had to do a lot of baling for horse feed and for hay and straw. We're going to still try and do some this year, not for our own usage though, but to sell if we can get some interest. So that's something we'll look into, and hopefully we can. We've got a slurry tanker. We do need that. We do rely on that quite a bit here. We are looking at a high spec, and it is the 2300. It does exactly what you think it would do, really. It's perfect for us, and our grain trailer there as well. Our cattle are split, like I said, into 2 different sheds. Both sheds are a little bit old. That one could do with a little bit of a touch up there and need to be looked after and maintained. But for the most part, they do what they need to. Our dairy cattle do go out into the grass. We do bring them back in to feed them though as well, just to supplement their diet. Our beef cattle the calves do mainly stay indoors. Again, it's good enough conditions through the summer that they can go out there. But right now, they can't get that caloric intake they need if they do go out. So we're keeping them in just to fatten them up at the moment and get some good conditioning onto them. We usually hold on to them for about 8 to 10 months, and then they'll be moved on to the market. So that's the plan there. I open up our big old doors here. Again, old buildings. These buildings are have been around for about 50, 60 years, and they're starting to show it. We've had to get a bit of repointing done. Some of them are listed around here, so we can't do too much with it, so we have to be very careful. We've got some of our more sensitive equipment in here, as I like to refer to it as. We've got our fertilizer spinner, our seed drill, our mower, and our trusty old combine there as well. One of the issues we have around here, and you'll see some of the brickwork in this corner is not the best. There's a few bits of branches and a bit of ivy, I think that is, and everything else creeping through there. That's going to be a job for us to try and get the National Trust to come and help us with, because yeah, we can't just do anything too drastic without any confirmation or approval, because like I said, at the end of the day, we are just the tenants here, so we have to respect that. But the combine is fantastic. We picked this up, where are we now, in 2022. This would have been picked up originally by my dad when my father was farming elsewhere. We bought it off of him in the early 2000s, and we brought it this way. We tried to keep an eye on it. Yes, the paint's a little flaky, but it's not rusting away. It's kept indoors all year round when it's not out in the field, and it hasn't skipped a beat really. The odd belt snaps and the odd thing like that, the odd filter, but it's still thriving, and that is what I absolutely love. What we're going to do now is jump on into our Defender, and we are going to go just for a little bit of a drive just to see some of the areas around here, see what's going on. And then yeah, before we're just going to get our start on some baling. I am waiting really just so I don't get too far ahead of the bale, the wrapper man who's going to come. We don't have a bale wrapper, like I say, so the contractor will come and help us out with this. But we do have a new baler. Now, we didn't have that big round baler until last season. That was our first season with it, so we're doing the best that we can with it. And yeah, I'm hoping, I have an idea that one day it'd be nice to maybe lend services and do a bit of contracting to other farmers in the area if it's needed, just to get a bit of extra revenue coming in, but we'll see. These cattle up here, these, like I say, are our beef cattle. They have a nice view over the farm here, but they are also here just to fatten up, really. We're going to be bringing in silage bales from over there, and they're going to be coming into here. We're going to stack them in this corner here. We don't stack them high, we just put them down by one here, so that'll be fine. But yeah, otherwise, some of the projects moving forward. Now, this here is where our stables were. If you can just see as I climb up over the fence, we had a stable in here, and you can see there's a bit of a track as to where they used to do their, I guess, their dressage and things like this. This field's going to need a bit of attention. It's going to need to be reseeded, but I think we're also going to have to flat lift it as well, just because there's a lot of compaction in here. So we'll have to put a bit of work into this grass field over the next few months, because I think we got rid of the stables and the horses disappeared from here just over the spring gone. So we'll have to see about that. But that's something we'll work on anyway. And we'll get that going. Otherwise though, everything else is pretty good here. We've got a good setup. I'm very happy with how the farm's working. There's a few small projects that we've got on the go. But that's what makes this farm, really. That is what's helping us. So we're just going to spin around. We're going to take you through to an area that we are reclaiming, really. It's a bit of pasture ground that has been untouched for the longest time until we came in to work on it. And the grass quality was never great. It's getting better because we've invested a little bit of time in the soil quality there and get some soil samples for this area. And we'll see what that looks like. There's our little set of rollers there as well, because that's when they were last used in here, once this was plowed over and reseeded just last year. Bit of a forest there. Now this forest is actually curious because we're going to be using this in the long run here. We're going to be selectively felling some of these trees down because we want to start to bring in a bit of a kindling business. So we'll have to look into that. But as you can see, this field is ready to go. We are going to be making hay out of this field. Most of it which will be kept for us. We mowed this down just yesterday at the same time as we mowed the silage over there. But this is going to be good pasture hay. And we're just going to leave it be for today. And it'll get thrown around a little bit. And we'll see how it dries out. It's a little bit thicker in some places than others. But the ground quality is in far superior condition. I'm a big believer in really investing into the quality of your soils. By doing that, you can really see a huge significant output increase. We are trying to be as environmentally friendly here and invest back into our farm as much as we can. So we're trying to reduce our inputs down of man-made products such as your artificial nitrogens and your herbicides, pesticides. And we want to try and be as friendly as possible. We have thought frequently about investing into an organic infrastructure. But at the moment, we just don't see that quite playing off right now. So that's a big shift that we've got to make there, and some of our ground isn't in the right state of mind to do that. So perhaps that's something that we will get onto and we will make that change for. But we're not just quite there yet. Anyway, I'm going to knock this off for now. We're going to go for a bit of a spin in the tractor and baler, I reckon. This shed here is where we're going to stock most of our hay. This straw, we actually bought some straw off a local farmer, and we bought it standing up, so we got a fair deal. We don't have much of our own arable land. As I mentioned, we're a 250 acre farm. Our arable land is actually on the other side, that pasture field that we were just in. We'll not see that today. We'll see that over the course of the next few episodes, I imagine. Some of it's a little bit more diverse. We do have some sunflowers in the ground at the moment, amongst other things there. So we're trying to mix up what we're actually putting into the ground. And we'll see how that goes for us, really. And we'll follow that along. That's going to be harvested very soon. And we'll be looking to continue our crop rotation there. As I mentioned, we are looking to try and diversify. We have a new contract in place, actually, with a local agronomy company. And they're going to be bringing their agronomists in to analyze our soil just to make sure that it's all looking good. And see what we actually need to do to take the next steps over there. So that's going to be something that's going to be really fascinating to watch along with as well. Right now, though, it's time to go out and do a bit of tractoring. We're going to jump on into our 5470 and get going here. Like I say, the Coon Baler, second season on jobs, first full season on the job. To be honest, our last baler broke down on us during the last harvest, really. So we've upgraded. It was a bit of a financial hit that we didn't anticipate making, but you know, it's okay. It's worked out well for us anyway. And hopefully that will keep this one around for a while. This does allow us to vary the size of our bales, which is great, and allows us to offer a few more different services there. So we'll be looking to continue that. And then, yeah, in the next coming few days, we'll be trying to get that hay moved around a little bit. And we'll see. We'll make a lot of round bales for our own usage, but then you never know. We may still just jump on to making a few square bales as well for the horse folks out there who do need them. Okay, let's stop about there. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in the village of Calmsden. Absolutely stunning, really is. So the farm that we're farming and the neighbors' buildings that you can see over there, now that is actually just a storage farm really now for a much larger estate, or much larger setup. There's a lot of large arable fields in this area, and they are, well, the sole occupiers and tenants of those. Again, more National Trust land, but that farm was originally the original owner retired from there, and there's just essentially a giant farmer from a local area who's taken on that tenancy just to do all the arable farming. And in one respect, it is a bit of a shame. I mean, I think they have about 800 acres of arable land around here, and it does deprive maybe someone trying to get into the industry of an opportunity. But with that being said, it's not easy to get into the industry these days, and especially to go from 0 to an 800 acre farm is a significant investment. So maybe that's perhaps we're in a position now where we're just not going to see that. particularly for the younger generation. Very, very difficult indeed. But yeah, I'm a man who likes to stop occasionally and look at my tractor. Just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. But anyway, let's get ourselves going. We are, yeah, the Rapper Man is going to be in. It's just gone about 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. We've had lunch, and the Rapper Man said he'd be here by about 2. So I can have an hour to get going. Get a bit of a head start on him. I don't think that's too bad. Let's go that way, shall we? We'll have to shut some gates because, like I say, we are in the pig field, or next to the pig field here. They'll just free range around here. We do give them a bit of feed, like I say, because ultimately we do want them to fatten up. But no, they're doing okay. They keep themselves to themselves there. They're happy. They've got plenty of space to roam around in, plenty of ground to churn over, which they will do. Let me tell you. As you can see, this has been this was left fallow really for a while there, so there wasn't really much on there, but they've already taken after it. So they're doing what they want to do, so that's fine with me. We'll shut that. Alright, so we should all be set to go there. Now we haven't done any silage yet so far, or any hay. This is not going to be our first crop there. We did have the cattle out here a little bit later than anticipated. But we should be good to go if we just fire up the baler there. It's looking good. Fantastic, lower it down. The gorilla's down already, and we are going to be set. But yeah, we do feed a bit of a mixed ration into our cattle, and then we add a little bit more organic matter in there as well, just to really increase their output really, and their caloric intake for the beef cattle. They get a little bit more of a mineral feed additive as well. But yeah, we're looking to try and find cost-friendly ways to continue to change this. We're looking into various different waste products from food chains, for example. See if we can take advantage of any of that brewer's waste, for example, which is like the used wheat or the used barley, sorry. Anything from various different supermarkets that is deemed, you know, too big or too small or too ugly, which is apparently incredibly a thing, especially when you come to various different root crops and potatoes, things like that. We're looking to try and get that on board, so it's going to be something that we'll have to try and we'll have to monitor, because yeah, the cost of producing silage, if you use the straight nitrogen for your production, is obviously going to continue up and up and up. There goes my beep, so we're nearly there. There you go. I'm going to start our net wrap here in a second. Perfect. We do put our slurry down onto this, onto our grasslands. We try and use as much of as our own farmyard manure and slurry as we can. We don't have a dribble bar yet for our slurry tanker. We may have to look into that, as looks like we are going to be seeing some changes coming in here. So that is very much something we're going to look to factor in. There's a few grants out and about there that we can maybe look to harness as well, but we will see. We definitely want to try and be a little bit more cognizant of that moving forward. But yeah, it's only when you're on a small farm like this, there's only so many changes you can make in a given year, based off of your budgets, and also just based off of you know, the machinery that you have, and the ability to change so much within a given year as a one-man operation there, really. I do have my family who, like I say, do come and help out where we can, but I am the sole farm worker here. And for the most part, 250 acres is pretty manageable, actually. It's not too bad at all. Yeah, it's a cracking day to get on with it today. Hoping that Mr. Baler Man will arrive fairly soon so we can keep pushing through. And if we can, then we'll be on for... We'll get this field done, and then, yeah, it shouldn't take us too long to get this done. Hoping to get enough bales off this one to keep us going, but if we're still looking a little bit too shy of an ideal number, we might just take the headlands off that hay field as well and see how it's looking. Alright, got that wrap feed in there. Perfect. So we'll just stop here actually once we've dropped this bale off. Not any second now. We have a little setup, so I trigger the net wrap, and then once it's done like that, it automatically lifts up the back door. We'll just kick everything off there for a second to go and have a bit of a look-see. Obviously we were baling straw, so I had the pressures dialed just a little bit more there. But yeah, that is not a bad looking bale, even if I do say so myself. Not the biggest that we'll do, not as near as big as our straw bales, because it's got to go into a wrapper. But yeah, we should be looking good. I need to get some touch-up paint here for the Massey. It's starting to show signs of a little bit of wear, and it needs a wash. Both things will happen, but just not anytime soon. Flick on the PTO again there, and we are good. Wonderful stuff. Well, this is going to be us, really. I do hope you are interested in the journey that we're going to take here. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions or would like to see anything as we progress through. Lots that we need to share as we get going with this, and then of course we will bring as much of that as possible over the course of, well, through harvest and beyond. So we are going to hopefully get some silage bales cleared up for the rest of the day, and hopefully get the last of them brought on in. We just had to go and take a bit of a quick run out to our local feed merchants, because they were about to wrap up and get rid of the last of their pig feed, actually, and we needed a little bit more. So we made a quick trip, not too far, but we're stocked up now, so we're looking good. We try and keep our pigs feeding on free range, really, so whatever they can find out in the fields, but we do supplement them a little bit just to keep that weight and conditioning up. Because ultimately these pigs are going for into butchers boxes, really, towards the end of the year. So we want to make sure that we've got something to sell there, really, ultimately. So that's what we're looking at. It's been a very busy couple of days since you were last with us. We had the contractor out there to finish up the silage wrapping. I'll put a picture of that up now so you can see the rig that he brought in. That is our local contractor. He does everything for us, really, that we don't do ourselves. A lot that we don't have a plow, so he does all of that, and any of the bigger, heavier jobs in the groundwork, really, that we might need, he looks after us with, really. So that's fantastic. This yard, hopefully by the time that we finish today, is going to look a little bit busier, so we have to be careful here. I want to stick this into here, but we're putting a few silage bales in this corner today, just to kind of get them out of the way. My mirror is filthy. I can't see a thing out of that side, and we're just going to try and get this backed in. We're going to park this up, and then we're going to jump into the 5400. You can see the last of the bales from over there have been cleared, and we just need to stack them up, and then we're going to go into the field in the back. We took a couple of headlands off just to get a few more bales. I wasn't quite happy with the number that we had, so we'll look into that as well. So onwards with the 5400. Some of our other bits of equipment around here, we got our water bowser and our, this is our relatively new to our sprayer. It's 21 meter equivalent. It's big enough for what we need, but it does allow us to get out and about a little bit and get all of our ground covered. Again, becoming as reliant as we can on our own operations without the need to bring in contractors is always going to be the main goal. So if I can continue to do that, I absolutely will. A few other bits and pieces that will be changed around here soon. The estate have granted us access into this little plot here, so we're gonna take control of that in the next few months, and actually just start to make that a little bit more productive. Right now that can wait. We've got more important things to do. We've currently got 2 headlands knocked off through there, so it's probably around about 8 or 10 bales to get through in the field through the trees. We've been stacking our silage bales here, just leave them one for what we're going to be making. We just leave them one high here, really, at the moment, but we're going to stack them up as and keep them going there, and we'll stick a few more down by the shed as well. I am in 2 mines right about now, and look how nice that Massey looks in this weather. Isn't that just an absolute delight? I'm in 2 mines at the moment as to whether or not we will mow down this field. That was a sheep field, and we've never had sheep in it at all, actually, but that's shut. And we also need to, there's a lot more compaction in this field now, so that is definitely going to have to get worked over. But yeah, I could really look into mowing this field down, and it's got some grass on there. It's not too good a quality. I think I might just top it. I might just get that knocked off there and just start again with it, really. It's not really good quality. It would be baled up and wrapped up, and it'll just essentially be fodder if we run out of anything else. I need a good silage, so it needs some work doing that field. We are going to, like I said in the first episode there, we will be getting the agronomy firm in to come and test this, so that will be one of the key fields for us to check into. But yeah, let's just get this all unloaded here, and then we should be good to get cracking, really. Just a one-man job, really, so we've been taking us our time this morning to get a little focus on a few other bits and pieces, but there's not too many bales, so it's worked out quite handily. But yeah, this little massey here is a gem on the loader. It's balanced really nicely, so it does handle loader work significantly well. It's very, very smooth with a loader on the front as well. Back end never really wants to jump around or anything, which is always good to know. And then I like to tip these on the ends. I find that my round bales, if you keep the pressure on them with this baler, that they keep their structure just a little bit better, so they're a lot easier to handle around. And that means that really, they just make a better bale when you come to actually unwrap them there. But yeah, we keep them here, and it's nice and easy. We used to just bring them in 2 at a time, really, on the back of the bale grab, and sometimes we'll still do that with hay, depending upon how many bales we make there. But this trailer that we picked up actually got fabricated from a local engineering firm, not all that far away from us actually, by a couple called Johnson Brothers. They made this, and it's a grand trailer, but it's also pretty cheap, which is always something that I can enjoy when you know, budgets are hard to come by. It just means as well that when we do take on our contract ground for the straw there, when we buy straw in the field, we can actually get to it and bring it back in on our own. We don't need to use a contractor for that. Does it take a bit of time? Absolutely does, but I think it's still very much worthwhile. And that's nicely done. So a couple more and then we'll be looking good. Ideally, if we can get this to come out to almost the edge of the level with the gate post there, that'll be good. So I think we are going to make a bit more silage. The ground that we've got down through the wood there, we're not going to bale anymore. I do have one more field that we put into a bit of a break crop from arable over back of the woods there. So that'll be something we'll have to look into to get done, because that will, if we get that one all baled up and wrapped up there, that should give us more than enough. Even the potential to probably sell a few off as well there. So we'll see. That's the plan. But let me know how you're doing as well. Thank you very much for all of the feedback and the kind words about the first episode. I'm really, really pleased to see that you enjoyed it. It's great to have you all on board there, and do keep sending in your comments and your questions. A lot of you seem to really like the yard that we've built over time. And it's about trying to maintain. We're not allowed to, as I mentioned there, we're just not allowed to knock anything down or start again because of the nature of the build. So we have to be very careful with that, and we do get a bit of an inspection every so often by the National Trust just to make sure as tenants we're complying with our agreement, and I think it works out well. I very much am proud of the maintenance here, and some of the older bits and pieces that we have blended this farm in, new and old, and I think it's working well. Does it limit us to expansion? Absolutely, but you know, it also controls things for us, and we are in a lucky position to have this farm, that's for sure. But yeah, that is the last bale from there, which is great. We're going to take this on through the trees, and then we'll go and see what we can get done over there. So once I get this all hooked back up, then we'll go and take you for a bit of a spin. All right, so we have to be a little bit fiddly here. This is not the widest of entrances, so hopefully we can spin it around, and we'll have to see. There you go. This is not my first time. Beautiful. Oh, we need to change that before we hit our own telegraph pole too much. There you go. And we're through. So, as I said there, we came into here just to bail off a few more headlands to give us a little bit more. The rest of this was getting a little bit too dry, so we'll probably just leave it be for hay. We have the tedder on the back, or the woofler really, as I like to refer to it as, on the back of the Fiat. So hopefully this evening then we'll get on into having a bit more of a blast around this. As you can see, it is catching a lot of sun here. It's going to dry out an absolute treat. But there's about maybe 10 to a dozen bales in here that we can get after. So nice little numbers to help us up. So yeah, that is going to be the plan for here. These are going to go back over into the main shed, or the main yard there, just so they're a little bit closer so we can feed up the cattle there, and then we should be handy. But yeah, what we will do is just get this one all done nice and quickly, and then we can move on to a bit of hay tedding for a summer's evening. What an absolute delight. This will go into bigger round bales, so we're going to go to 1.8 meter bales, I think. That's going to be the plan at least. A little bit less shifting around, and then, like I say, maybe a block or two of small square bales as well, just so we can keep a few clients happy with the horses. And we'll see how that goes. But I do have a lot of ideas that I want to do with that, and I'm hoping that we can try and make that possible, but I just don't know at the moment. We need to keep working away at that potential. A few other people in the area have thought and discussed it, but never really gone too far with the production for the equine industry. And not many people around here, in all honesty, have small balers left at the moment. They're all giant big things. So if we can make it work, then that's great for us. There we go. Fantastic. So we'll get this all stacked up. It won't take us too much longer, and then we'll take this back to the yard and show you where we're heading to next and what the next plan is. Well, alright, and we're all loaded up here. Only 8 bales, but it's another 8 to add on, which will keep us going for that little bit longer. I'm debating whether or not we'll actually come into here this evening and throw us around, because it's getting a little bit damp in places, but there's still... part of me thinks there's still enough sunlight on here just to lift that up. There's still a bit of a cool breeze running through, so it might work out alright. And then we're not going to be baling it for a few days anyway. What we'll be doing is just letting the air get through it a bit more there, just to dry it out and turn it over a little bit. So that should be absolutely fine. There we go. We're creeping through. This tractor certainly knows that it's all behind us there, but that's fine. That's not a problem at all. What we're going to try and do, though, we do need to be a little bit smart about this. And let's see where we can stick this, that we're not going to be anyone's way. I've hit that gate post on the corner there more times than I care to say, and I've been able to patch it up every time since. So my masonry work has had quite a bit of time to improve, let me just say that much. What we're going to try and do is just stick this actually under here. Because like I say, we're going to stick a few bales in the corner here, so we have something extra just floating around here in case we need it. That should about do it. This yard's compact, but we're still able to get around and do everything we need. Over here is the tether. Like I say, this is what I know as a woofler, and these tines on the back just go through and lift up the swath, let the air get through it, and kind of flip it over a little bit as well. We'll leave it fairly narrow as well, so it keeps it all nice and tight in the compact swath, so we don't have to come back through and rake it up or anything like that, which should be great, and then we'll be good to go. So that's going to be the plan there. Cattle think they're going to get fed again. Boy, have I got some bad news for them. Stuck a few ratchet straps on just to keep everything safe along the way. Wonderful. And let's see what we can get unloaded into here, shall we? If we get this done relatively quick there, we'll probably take that feed out just to get going. I think that should be a good enough start. But yeah, let's just get cracking along with this. So let us know down below what you are working on at the moment there. If you are still cracking along with harvest, it's getting late into the year though, so let me know what you're doing anyway. It would always be very intrigued to know. A few people in the local area have still got quite a lot of work to do, so it's always interesting, but we're going to keep pushing through here anyway. All of our harvest is done with the exception of our sunflowers. They're going to be next on the list, so we just need to see what that is going to entail really, because I'm not quite sure at the moment. But we'll figure that one out. I'm toying with the idea of getting a contractor to come in and do it, but also I think that my class should be able to do it myself, really. It might just take a bit of time. The header's not really set up for it, and it's going to be a bit of a tangled mess by the time we finish, but in theory, there's no reason why it can't, so we might just see how we get on with that. Watch my trailer there. David, it's the ticket. And around we go. Like I say, we'll just drop a few into here. We're not going to try and fill up too much space at this side, but it's just nice to have them, a few bales here as well, just for when we need them. And also, because this is a hard stand there, any effluent that comes from it there, we do just drain off into the Slurry lagoon as well, so it'll all get spread the same way. Put it back onto the grassland, of which we're going to have to be doing very soon as well, actually, just so we can get the silage fields a good application. But we're going to wait until we have the soil samples back, because we're not going to be rushing to make any more cuts off here, so we can... Time's on our side. But it would be good just to get a bit of a clear understanding as to what that looks like for us. Alright. Well, we're going to get these last two cleared up. And like I said, there's not too many of them here, and then we'll be good to go. Let's get out there, check out the old Fiat 8090 for a bit of a spin in this lovely summer's evening. Maybe even one of those type of evenings where we keep the door jarred open. I don't know, but we'll see. But we'll get these two shifted first anyway, and then we'll go and see what's happening. All right, so that's a good job done. Fields are cleared. Still nice. You can hear the winds breezing through the fields and through the yard here. So, with that being said, we're going to have a start at least to turn a little bit of hay over. It's been down now for 2.5 days really. So I usually turn it over 2.5, 3 days for the first time around, but, and then we'll leave it for a few days on top of that, and then see what it's looking like and give it another spin over there. But today we're just going to give it the first blast through. In places it's a bit heavier than others, and some places have a little bit more shade to it, so it's you know, it needs a bit of hit and miss really. Let's get that shot, and then we'll open that one when we get to the field. I think just let a bit more air in, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, as you can see, the sun's not going to capture all of it, so we just need to give some of this a little bit of a tickle over. Excellent stuff. Well, alright then. And away we go. Turned over quite nice. Now with this as well, I can extend out the shoots on the back there, so to spread it around a little bit more. I tended to like to keep it in a little bit tight in the rows, just so I can keep a better eye on things, but wouldn't you know, I think that's doing a grand job. So we shall keep just pushing through here. Won't take us too long to get this tickled over. We'll leave it for a few more days, then we can come back to it. In the next video, we're probably going to be looking at some of the land that you can't and you haven't seen yet through the trees there. We'll take you for a bit of a tour of what that looks like, hopefully soon, with the agronomy service coming in as well, so we can actually get some soil samples done, get back on track with what that field looks like. But yeah, otherwise it is all coming up Millhouse here at the moment there. We're flying through it all, and we should hopefully, like I say, have all of our hay done. I'm in two minds. We might make one more crop. We'll have to see. I'm gonna have to drive over in the morning and see what that grass is like over at the other side there. We just put in, like I say, for a bit of a break crop. Had some neighbour's sheep on there for a little bit in the earlier stages, so we'll see how that goes and see if it's any good. If it's thick enough over there, we'll get it knocked down and we'll see what that looks like. So all interesting, lots to happen still coming forward here. It's always busy, it always is when there's just myself working here, and we'll see how we get on. If you have any further questions though, always happy to answer those, and you know, give you a bit of a tour of things I haven't shown you. I don't think we've been through all of the machinery yet, and we will take our time just to kind of cover them all off there, and just to show you bits and pieces as we need them. And you know, hopefully there'll be a few changes coming as well, and to get towards the end of the year there, we might be able to afford to pick up a few other bits and pieces. Very seldom do I buy new, but sometimes there's a need out there, so we'll see how it goes. You joined us in the hayfield today, where we were busy yesterday. We managed to get everything baled up before it got too damp, or everything that we wanted to bale up at least. Now we're just waiting for it to dry up a little bit this morning, so we can get this little square baler out and do this little block here. There's gonna be quite a few bales there, but never mind. I think it'll be good for us to get them done. So we're just clearing the field. We are due a little bit of I think a little bit of rain later on actually. So what we're going to try and do is get this all baled up and get them back to the farm before then. And we'll see how we get on there. So we're out in the loader tractor, just clearing them up there. I've already put them into two, so it's nice and easy. We're bringing 4 in at a time, and we're just going to stick these down by the shed for now, and then we'll get them loaded up later on when we can there. But my main aim today is to get the rest of that baled up, to be honest. It's going to be much needed, and as long as we get the hay undercover today, I'll be looking good. Now I made a decision the other day as well, that we're going to, there's one more field of grass that we had in temporary grassland really, that was as part of a rotation for our arable ground. We are going to get that baled up. It's going to go into silage, I imagine. It's not the strongest quality in the world, so we'll have a look at getting that done very soon. But yeah, main aim for today, we're going to wait to see what this rainfall looks like and see how damaging it could be before we make any decisions. But look, the baler's out, the baler's ready to go. It looks delightful on the Fiat there as well. And we're just going to drop these off here for now, because we just, like I say, it's easier to load them up from here when we need to. So that's exactly what we will do. Let me just turn around. And then we're good. Everything else is looking fantastic though, actually. Really, really pleased with how we're progressing. What we're going to do as well is have a peek through with our sunglasses. There's a little bit of the... Well, you haven't really seen any of our arable ground yet. But we're going to have a little bit of a look at some of that. There is a little forest track that takes us from the field that we're in through to the sunflower field. So we're going to have a bit of a peek through at that one. Let's just shove that one forward a bit there. That's better. And then we'll be able to, yeah, we'll be able to, hopefully, I think that's going to be ready in the next month or so to get going up. Sunflowers is the first time I'm doing it as a bit of a break crop, really. Just to try and improve the quality of some of our soils. And we'll see how that's going. This week we are going to bring in the agronomy team to get some sampling done. So we'll be very interested to see what that looks like and the results that brings back. But yeah, we should see some interesting improvements there. Well, at least I'm hoping to. But what we are going to do is we're just going to stop this about here for now. And let's go and have a little bit of a peek. So all this woodland here, like I mentioned the other day in the previous episode there, that this is all timber that there's some of this that we're going to be selectively cutting out. Some of it's a bit worse for wear and a bit older, and there's even some dead trees still standing in here. So we're going to fell those. We're going to bring a bit more light onto the floor there. We are going to plant some more trees though at some point. You can see there's a few bits of remains of trees that have already been fallen over there. So that's going to be our first aim, just to get this all looking a little bit better. And we also want to try and diversify and see if we can get a little bit of kindling coming out of this as well. See if we can sell some firewood somewhere. But that's a longer term plan. As you can see right now, there's not a great deal of sunlight that can hit the floor. But we will focus on that at a different time. Down this little track though, gets a little bit overgrown in places, is one of our the kind of gateway through into our arable fields, really. I take this way more than I do going through the village there, just to be considerate to the residents. But this is something that we had to try and pare back a little bit because it was severely overgrown. But this is our sunflower field, and look at it. Don't they just look magnificent? We have 2 fields of sunflowers here, actually. This one and 2 fields over. So we'll be looking to get into this sooner rather than later. I'm just trying to decide whether or not we can actually do it with our combine, or if I'm going to have to stump up together a contractor in to help out with this. You can do it with your regular headers. It does tend to want to get a bit wrapped up around the reel though, and sometimes it might be a little bit easier if I can find a contractor who has a specialist header. We might look into that one, but for right now, we'll worry about the hay, and then we'll look at this. The grass field's about 20 acres, is over on the other side of this hedge line here, and that's something we'll have to tackle probably next week, I think, at this stage. Yeah, quite a good looking plot there anyway, and what this will probably go into after that may well be winter barley. So we do need to try and get this cleared and get the ground worked over there and tested and everything else before we can get on with that one. But there is the start of the arable fields anyway, so it's always nice to see. Nice to have a little bit of a look around what we're working with. Yeah, I do love this area of the farm. It's absolutely beautiful. Trying to keep it in as much of its natural state as possible. But yeah, we do have to do a little bit of maintenance there and a little bit of trimming back now and again. But anyway, you can see there's a few clouds forming over here, so conditions aren't ideal, but they're not the worst. So we'll see how we get on. Main thing for me to do today is just get these bales cleared and get this hay done. That's all that I need to worry about for today. Try not to trample on the swaths too much. There you go, 2 more there. I think there's another 2 trips or something like that. That might be about right. Anyway, we'll see how we're getting on. Like I say, I don't know if this will be enough hay for us entirely. We'll see as well what comes off of the field that we're going to cut down as well. Let's see if we need to make any more. Probably to do a majority of it in silage. Whether or not we'll need that silage remains to be seen. But, like I always say, if we're able to make surplus, then that's always good. We can always figure out what we're going to do with that surplus at a different time. But main priority really is to get that wrapped up and stacked up, really. And we shall see from there. Big thank you to everyone else who has joined in and watched and commented. Really do love reading through all those comments. It's great to see that so many of you are enjoying this mini little series of mine here and my thoughts and musings as we go through the day. Let me know if you have any other questions down below, or would like to see any other areas of the farm and how we do things. A few people have commented as well. There's one particular comment around about whether or not we'll be looking at a dribble bar, seeing as splash plates looking to be outlawed at some point in the future. The answer to that is yes. There's a few different grants out there that we could look to apply for as well to help with that one. We missed out on the closing date for the first one, so we didn't get that in time. But in short, yes, we will be looking to capitalize on one of those, and then we just need to probably do it in the next 12 months. We're looking to get some quotes lined up and see how that all comes together for us, really. Okay, we'll just come back a little bit here, drop these two. Excellent. Fun story, once upon a time there, the overhead power line was knocked down by a contractor here when they were carting bales in. Don't ask me how on earth they got it that high, but they did. And that was knocked out the village really for quite a while. Always fun. Excellent stuff. So yeah, we've just got a couple more trips to make here. And then I am desperately keen to try and get the rest of these bales cleared quickly, because it does seem like it's getting a bit more overcast with every passing minute here. So that is not very good. But yeah, like I say, what we may well do, I think there's 6 bales left. Shouldn't take us too long to do. We'll get these cleared up, and then we can get on to the fun stuff there. Get the old classic baler out. There's going to be a lot of hand stacking because we don't have a bale sledge or anything like that at the moment. We don't have anything that we can use. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to find, I suppose, but the problem is when you do look around at all these different sites and auction sites, yes, you can find them, but are they in good condition? Typically, no. They're always rotted in the back of hedgerows and things, so we'll have to see what we can do about that. But yeah, we'll keep looking for one of those, see if we can find one somewhere. Okay. But what I think it'll be is, I'm hoping there's not going to be much more than a couple hundred bales here, so we should be able to just get through, well, I should be able to get through them on my own. Just get them off the ground onto a trailer there, so at least they'll not get damp coming through, and then we just park the trailer in the shed for this evening, and that should be good. But we'll come back and we'll get that last trailer load there as well, and then we'll be good to bring out the Fiat. Well, alright then everybody, the hay is all in. What we're going to do is, once we've got this baling finished, which we're about to go and start with the small baler, the hay is going to go into this section here. What usually happens is the square baler, when we're finished, will be parked in here, and then we'll just start where the straw is as well. We'll line up there and we'll go out with all of the hay, which is going to be great. Not bad little haul there for about half a field. We might make a little bit more. We'll have to see what the forecast looks like as well. The small square bales we're going to go and hit on now aren't for us. We do sell those in the end. The hardest part is yet to come. Sitting in the tractor baling that is very much the easiest bit, because yeah, we're going to have to get out there and stack them up by hand onto a trailer. It's not something I enjoy doing at all. It's a bit back-breaking work, but you know, the rewards can be worth it, because the equine industry are willing to pay quite a lot for good hay, we've discovered. So that's something we'll always have to look into, and we'll see how we get on. But otherwise, everything else is looking pretty good. The baler is a John Deere 348. It's in immaculate condition, even if I do say so. We keep it undercover. We've had it for years. This is another bit that my dad had when he had his farm, and we used to borrow it. And then when he was retiring and selling everything up, really, before it went to auction, we took that, and we paid him for it, but we took it. So that was, he jacked up and packed in there in the early 2000s. So we've had it since. Give it a bit of a replacement of a few parts here and there. Other than that, it's pretty much bomb-proof, as they say. So that is always good. I've had a few different small square balers in the past, Class Roland, for example, and this John Deere doesn't seem to get bogged up with anything. It's flawless in its efforts. It really is. So it's you know, you can chew through any size of swaths pretty easily. So that's always fantastic. Now let's just get ourselves fired up there. There you are. We're going to go down a gear and then... Alright, let's get ourselves away. We'll see how we get on here. Put that down. And we are off. Sun's coming out and peeking through the clouds right now, so I think we've nailed it in terms of our time in here, which is always good to see. Yeah, otherwise we're just going to crack on and see how it comes along. Otherwise, after this, like I say, we'll get this all stacked up today. And then that might be us done for baling right now, because I want to see what this weather does and see just how bad it is, or if it is bad at all. And then we'll make a call from there. But yeah, it seems to be going okie dokie. Would love to find like a flat 8 grab somewhere if we could get one. Oh, there's our first bale. Let's just go and have a look at that, make sure everything is looking good. Windows open. There is no aircon on this today, so that is my aircon. But let's have a look. See, the bale there looks pretty tight. Oh yeah, it's not too bad, not too heavy at all. That'll do. Wonderful stuff. Square balers, the knotters on a square baler, which are inside there under that cover there, are 99% witchcraft. I am sure of it. But yeah, they seem to be working okay today. Alright, we're good there, and off we go. It is beautiful around here. The birdsong you have around here in this pasture is just fantastic. For the longest time, this was just left abandoned, really, this field there. The grass quality was not very good to start with. We've put a lot of effort into transforming this and restitching in some grass seed and making it into a little bit more of a viable pasture ground. And I think it's really paying off for us now. Really getting a good, strong crop off here. We will also be looking to add in a little bit of farmyard manure and some slurry onto here. And we'll see how we're looking. We're trying to get a delivery of lime in as well, or at least get some quotes, because I have a feeling when we do get the agronomy team here next week that the first thing they're going to say is that some of our fields need to have their pH balance restored. So if that's the case, I want to try and get a price booked in for that right now, really. But we will continue to follow suit on that and see how it looks. But yeah, we are going to just tick through here. Shouldn't take us too long to get this field done, but it'll be a grand day to do it. And then as every time I hear those knotters click and the bale drops out there, that's just more manual labor for me. So it's going to be a busy old afternoon. You join me here in the last remaining grass pasture that we had that had not been cut, but it has been now. It's been a week or so since we last spoke to you, and we were able to get this knocked down. As you can see, we baled up most of it for silage. Some of it's here, some of it's back down at the yard, and then the rest of it we've stuck into a little bit more hay there. So this is the last of it to come off the field. And now all we need to do is think about what the next steps are. We're going to have to connect up with an agronomist just to make sure we are going to keep this in grass for one more year, I think. But yeah, it did okay. Not too bad yield. This is a first year lay, really. It was put down last September. It came through pretty well. So we'll hopefully get a bit of muck or slurry onto here at some point to continue to fertilize it, which would be great. Left a few bales here. These are likely just going to be sold off to somebody. I don't think we're going to need these ones. So we just left them all stacked up out the way in the corner, and then easy enough to load up when the time comes. But yeah, this hay is pretty good. I'm very pleased with it, to be honest. So we'll take it back over to the yard, get it stacked up. Today we have the first stages of our partnership with a new agronomy firm. They are currently taking a load of soil samples from the fields around the main yard, and they will hopefully be able to tell us where our fields are in terms of the pH levels and the nitrogen-based levels, really, and also give us a bit more of an idea as to what soil we have, so we can plan accordingly. So that's going to be interesting to see. Very curious to see what those results look like. But what we would plan to do today, regardless of what they say, is we need to get a bit of slurry out anyway. So we're going to... The spread is already on the back of the Massey. We're just going to take this load back. We'll start to unload these bales as well. At some point soon, we have to have a bit of shuffle around in the yard. So that we just need to sort a few things out there, but lots to do, and we'll figure it all out in good time, and then we're all set. I think I've sourced a header for my combine, actually, so we can get these sunflowers tackled. They're not quite ready yet. I think it's going to be about another week or so. So whenever they are ready, we'll be able to get those in and get those fields cleared, which will be huge. That's going to be a fun one to tackle. And then, yeah, once that's done, I'm starting to think about turning my attention towards a bit of winter drilling. I've got a contractor coming in soon as well, he's going to be jumping on to a bit of ploughing. We don't have our own plough, so he comes in. One field in particular is a little bit compacted. He might just put a bit of a flat lifter through it, actually, and just pull it all up. But yeah, we don't have our own plough at the moment. The last one we had was an old Lemken 4 there, and honestly, it went away as scrap by the end of the time. It wasn't really good for anything, but that's okay. All right, let's get ourselves in here. Perfect, easy does it. Last of the bales to be coming in for the year there. It's been a busy old harvest so far. Glad to get everything done, knowing taken care of. Hello. Always people walking around this estate. Some of which I know, most of which I have no clue who they are. But anyway, yeah, we're going to take this in. I think as well what we will be doing is topping this field down, because it's all just stalky grass at the moment. There's no real value there to it, so we'll have to take care of that. Now, my plan here, park this about there. Let's see how that looks. Oh, back a couple of feet. Alright then. So we roughly stacked those small square bales. I think the bottom one's about to fall out though, which is going to cause a right old mess. But yeah, they're there. They're probably not going to hang around for too long. There's not as many as I perhaps would have liked. But we only just sell them away to the couple of stables nearby anyway, so that's fine. But yeah, we're just going to get these unloaded quickly. There's the Massey and the Slurry tanker ready to go. Love that, Abby. Love that setup as a whole. I think I mentioned in the last episode, but someone was inquiring about whether or not we're going to be looking into a dribble bar. There's a strong chance that in the next year the splash plates will be outlawed, so... And I think yes is the answer. There's a few different options for us to look into that one. I'm kind of studying those options now, and there's a few grants that might be able to assist us there as well. So if that's the case, then of course we're going to look to take advantage of those as well. But anyway, let's get ourselves back on in here, and if we can get some stone at some point tipped to here to clear out this mud, that will be delightful. It's sticky now because it's a bit drier, but oh, does it get into a right old mess. That's better. It's not quite sitting level. There you go. Alright, so this one shouldn't take too much time for us to empty. There's not too many bales on here, actually. But yeah, nice just to get that all done. It did rain ever so slightly yesterday, so some of these got a little wet. We had to leave them out there today just to kind of dry off a little bit. Didn't want them to sweat when they came in, but they're looking good now. And then we'll be able to, yeah, we're going to be pretty self-sufficient then moving forward. I got everything we need. Okay. So I hope everything is going very well with you, wherever you're watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let us know if you have any comments, questions, or feedback, or if you're working in a similar area. Would love to hear from you. There you go. Try not to send any of these bales flying. That would be a good start. So what we'll do, we're just going to keep pushing through. We'll get these all stacked up. Not going to take us too much longer to do so. And then really we're in a position that we can start to do a bit of slurry. But before that, I think we'll go and just check in to see the work that the agronomist team are doing. We're not to stop or chat them or interrupt them because they're not here for too long. We've got a bit of a rush on today, so we'll leave them to do their thing. We're just going to say hello and see what their job's looking like. Alright then folks, job done. Always nice to get that one done. We've started to make a few moves around the yard here as well, just to tidy some things up. The square bale has gone back into its home in the corner here. We'll be leaving that around about here for now. Whilst we're here, actually, we'll just Just connect here. So yeah, that's not going to be moving now for a little while. We'll probably put the tether in front of it. And then what usually happens is the cleaning feeder will stay around here now. These are the remainder of the bales that we brought home from just over the road there, where we just brought the rest of the silage back from. So yeah, nice little stack here. They're just... I need to have a few here, and then we're looking good. Alright, so we're going to have a bit of a look at the soil sampling here and see why we're doing it. Now, all the fields around here on the farm have been tested already, and most of the fields out to the west have as well, specifically the arable fields. So we have a plan around that. Right now, the guys are... You can just see the top of a buggy there. They're currently testing this field here. Obviously, this is a kind of a reclaimed pasture land, really. So, very curious to see what the soil quality is like there. But we're going to have a bit of a look into what those results look like today. And what that looks like for us and how we're going to use that information. So, I'm going to just jump on in to the Defender. I've got a laptop in there, which I can access the relevant information for, which is all very exciting. So I'm going to do all that, make sure we have it all set there, and I will come back to you in just a second once we got logged in. All right, then here you go, folks. Here is what we're currently working with. As you can see, they're currently just testing this field here. This is our pasture. We've got one more to go and do over there. But what we're looking to see here is the exact makeup of our soil condition, the type of soil that we have there, and the current pH levels of that, and also the nitrogen levels in there as well. So with that in mind, what we'll do is we're going to have just a little bit of a peek down at these fields here. So this is where we've just been collecting the grass. This part of the field here is the grassland. So we'll have a look into these. As you can see, we've got majority silty clay there, but we've also got a band of loam and also a pocket of sandy loam in there as well. So it does vary as you go through. Now these fields, the boundary for this this field here is around about here. Actually, it kind of goes down like that. So it does split up into two. The grassland is mainly all the sandy loam. Now, if we come across, you'll see the pH levels across the board are not great. To be honest, we want to be around 7, which is going to be this this green color, which obviously we're not there. So we need to have a look into that. We need to probably put a bit of lime down there at some point soon, and we'll see if that can really boost everything up there. But for right now, at least, it's not the best. So that can have a bit of an effect on on the quality of anything that you try to produce out of that soil. If we have a look at our fertilizer levels, our nitrogen levels are through the floor as well. Now, you would expect that for this field of hay here, because this is what we've just harvested. So as a result of that, we have kind of stripped away all the nutrients and pulled them all off the field. So that is to be expected. We are going to have to build that up because we're about to start drilling again. So we'll see how that goes. The sunflower crops are going to be very good by the looks of things, because that is a very low quality. So that is probably going to have a bit of a direct effect on the yield. But just saying with the grassland as well, very barren, very barren. This is the pig field, so we haven't tested that one. But yeah, we are, this little bit of pasture ground here, we're just going to flat lift through and try to improve a little bit so we can get a bit more grass growing off that. But for these grass fields and this one here, this is where we really need to focus a bit of attention. And that's what we're going to do today. But with that being said, we're going to get ourselves out and start to get some slurry onto some of the grasslands here. The 5470 is already set up, ready to go. We've got to load in our Abbey tanker. This is our 2300 gallon high spec. It's a beautiful tanker for what we need. Not too big, not too small. When it's full, it does start to make the front end of the tractor a little bit light, so we have to put the weight on the back of the front. But it's, yeah, otherwise it's all good. Like I said, it does still have a splash plate on there right now, but maybe we'll get to change that at some point. We'll wait and see. But yeah, let's get this beast fired up. Wonderful stuff. And then we can just see about creeping our way out of here, out of this corner. There you go. So the aim is that we're going to get as much of the ground covered around here as possible. It's only the dairy cows here, the suckle cows, that are having any slurry in any vast quantities at the moment. The calves up in the shed up here are all on straw. So we have a bit of a stockpile of farmyard manure coming on up here. But yeah, for the slurry, it's mainly just out that pen down there. And then we'll keep an eye on that one. The calves are looking good. They're adding some good weight on there. They're finishing up quite nicely. But they're going to be with us for another few months yet. Okay, around there we go. Just a couple of bumps that we want to watch out for around here. And yeah, we're looking all good to go. So we'll just jump on in. We're going to go to the field that we built for silage. Start over there. Now what we also have to do as well to see if we're putting enough material down there, we do send some of the slurry away for sampling for testing, just to see if it has a sufficient level of nutrients in there, and to see if there's high enough levels of nitrogen as well. Otherwise, to be honest, there you might just be putting water down, and that's not really what you want. You need something which is going to have those key values in. Ooh, that's a bit tight. There'll be one thing I don't like about this gateway is it does drop down, and when you've got a slurry tanker on the back there, that weight can shift in the tanker, and it hasn't happened yet, but you could easily roll down that hill. That is the last thing anybody wants, but we're through. Once we get all this slurry put out and we're finished kind of going through this far field, we'll look to work on this field right now, which is kind of being compacted a little bit too much. So it's pointless doing anything to ease that when we know there's still a few more trips to make. Now, these pigs don't usually appear to be too adventurous, but there is a first time for everything. Okay. Awesome, and we're through. Let's whack this on. Now, one thing you need to do when we're going from fill to empty, you just need to come over and change this valve over here, so it actually will start to empty out rather than try and suck more in. But that's looking good. It's nice and clean, actually. It hasn't been this clean in a while. It's always good to get everything washed down after you use it. So let's just go for, I think we're going to be in C2. We'll see how we get on with that one. Alright, looks to be okay. We'll see how we go anyway. We can always revisit it or overlap it if we need to there. That's not a problem at all. But yeah, what we might do is actually just dial it down ever so slightly. Control that speed just a little bit more. That's better. And we are on the slurry, ladies and gentlemen. That's gonna be the rest of my day, really. We'll have to check into milk later on, but otherwise we're looking pretty handy. Good to get these fields covered again. There's no rain due for the next little while. We had to wait for yesterday's rain to kind of clear out, which it has done. So that's good. And then hopefully there we'll be able to take advantage of this. Got a contractor coming in very shortly as well to start plowing. We should hopefully be able to follow them with a little bit of winter wheat, but before that we need to get some seed. So that's gonna have to get the checkbook out soon and go and get some winter wheat seed picked up. So all in a busy time of the year, but we'll get it all done. For right now though, thank you ever so much for watching. I've been David. I do hope you have enjoyed this. Another insight really into all of the workings going on here on the tenant farm. Things are moving on. We're past harvest now really. We're into establishing next year's harvest, which will be good. Looking forward to seeing where that journey goes as well. You join us here in the loader tractor as we are bringing back a little bit of seed. We are going to be doing a bit of drilling today, but we've got some other things to do in the yard. There's some developments that I need to show you as well that are going to take a little bit of looking into. Oh, we're slowing down here. There you go. Come on, girl. But yeah, it is nice and dry. It's sunny. We had a heck of a lot of rain yesterday, which hopefully should help washing the last of that slurry. But yeah, we are hoping to get started with our drilling today. Our contractor Roger is here. We are going to be in the fields playing with the big boys' toys today because he has a massive machine that we are going to be working alongside. So we'll have a look at that when we get to the field today. Like I said, we're just going to bring back this the seed behind us. We're going to be putting in a little bit of winter barley as a starting point, and then we will see from there, see how we get on with this field. We won't get it all done today, that's for sure, but we'll get a good dent into it, that's for sure. And it'll be a good starting point. The weather's good, ground conditions are very good actually. We're not ploughing it today. We usually have ploughed these fields over in the past. We're going for a bit of a flat lift really, just to try and reduce the soil disturbance, and it should still break up some of that compaction. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Roger has been a contractor that we've used for a long time. My father used him as well before in his farm, and obviously he's grown and grown and grown over the years, so it's fantastic to see him still going. And we're going to see, well, he is going to be able to help us out today, and he's already well on the way there. But it's good to be able to use someone like Roger and not have to need your to buy all of your own equipment all the time. So that's what we're going to do. Now what we do need to do first off though is just stick the rear weight on. These bags of seed are not the lightest. So I'm going to put 2 on the front. So to do that, we are just going to need to put our little rear weight block on here. Now, there is a bit of a development in the yard here, and we're going to be looking into this in the next week or so. Because we'll have to figure out what on earth we're going to do around that. But we will... I'll kind of walk you through that now. Wonderful. Excellent stuff. Okay, so we are all on there. It's bouncing all over the shop. So what we'll do is stop here actually and quickly have a look. So this is the back end of our yard, and it's a wet mess. It always has been a wet mess for quite some time, but it seems to be getting a bit worse. And so I've been speaking with the estate, speaking with the National Trust manager as well, who I deal with there, the land manager, and we believe, according to some old drilling or some old drainage maps there, that down here somewhere was an old spring drain that came through here. And it would look like, because seemingly this water is all around here all year round, it's been like 25 degrees for the last few days, and this is still here. It's just not drying up. So it leads me to think something is bubbling up from underneath. So we're going to be having to have a look into that. Waiting for a delivery of a few bits and pieces to arrive, but then we will be having a little bit of an exploration into here to see what it looks like. So we'll bring you along for that ride when we're all ready to go. Lord knows what we're going to find there. Okay. But for now, we've got more pressing priorities there. Getting us some of our winter drilled crops into the ground. And let's hope that, I mean, there's perfect establishment conditions for them really. They're absolutely fantastic. We will look to get it rolled behind us pretty quickly where we can. So we'll have to get a march on really. Our rollers are over in the field. I think, based off weather, based off how they're looking on the last inspection there, our sunflowers are going to be ready to go pretty soon. So we'll have to try and get as much of this barley drilled as we can before then, so that once the sunflowers are ready, we can get the combine out and get those all cleared up. That will certainly be the thinking. Easy does it. Okay, so we'll take these into the yard. Now what we might actually do is go the long way around, just because it's going to be ever so slightly easier. That turnaround where those silos are is not the easiest, so we'll just pop in this way. Massey with the drill's already been set up there, and there's a new development with the drill as well. It's looking fantastic, and it's something that we've had kitted or enabled on the tractor for a while. We haven't had the final missing pieces, but we're good to go. It kind of brings us into modern age agriculture. Not fully there, but we're certainly on the way. And yeah, we'll look into that quickly before we get ourselves into the field. But main first task today is to get this all ready to go. Build lid's already up. And we'll just try and swing slightly wide here. If anything, we'll just need to come back. Old Nordstein drill for us really here. It's never skipped a beat in all the time we have it. We don't need anything bigger. We don't drill enough for anything bigger or fancier than this. And yeah, I don't also need the costs that go with that either. So we'll crack on with this as we are. All right. Now that might just be about us done. Which is rather handy. Doesn't take too much out of these big bags. What we will do is just swing this over here for now as well. Likelihood is that we'll end up taking this over to the field at some point when we run out, but we've got plenty to get going with for now. I'll be there, put those down. Okay. So you will see, you might just be able to make out on the top of the tractor there. Let's see if I can get up onto here for you to have a look. Don't try this at home, kids. There you go. There you go. We got a GPS dish on the top there. Now this is not one of the, you know, perhaps most commonly known brands, but it does a job. It's not the most up-to-date here. It's not RTK, and it's certainly not the John Deere Green Star dishes that everyone knows and recognizes. But what it is fairly primitive GPS. It allows us to quite simply know when we're drilling in a straight line. As you can see, we've got a little yellow box here on the front. It gives us these green lights and red lights, so it confirms when we are traveling in a straight line and when we need to change. We're going to set it all up when we get into the field. But for now, we're just going to go for a little bit of a drive, and we'll get ourselves going here, really. We're going to take the main roads through the village because we can't get through past the sunflower field yet. But that's all good. And we'll see how we get on. This tractor can more than capable of handling the drill in the back there. Sometimes the weight's a little bit of an issue on some fields if we're in the bottom end of the hill trying to turn around, but other times it's fine. We've got the front weight on there. Usually if we're going into plowed land, we'd stick the packer wheel on the front. But because of the machine that Roger's pulling there through, we don't really need it at all. It's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. So we'll be able to take advantage of his efforts. And should make it a little bit faster, a little bit more seamless, a little bit more efficient, one would hope. Yeah, we're not going to go too quick through here. We have got dual wheels on, so we're a little bit wide. Roads aren't the widest there, so we'll just take our sweet time. And then we should be good. Like I say, we won't get it all done today, but we'll try and get most of it, like a good half of it done. We'll finish off the other half tomorrow, and that should be us laughing. I think there's also a bit of a drain broken down here because there's always floods on this road here when it rains. That's a problem for another day. We were able to get the slurry out onto 2 fields. So we did the 2 fields that we bailed up last, actually. The one that you joined us in the last episode, then the new fallow field in the woods there. So that's it's looking good, actually. Good amount of slurry out there. Emptied out our pits, so we're looking good for now. Hopefully at some point soon we'll be able to get a little bit of farmyard manure on there as well, but we're just kind of waiting for we're going to keep clearing out the car shed, and we'll see. But all in good time for those, I'm sure. Alright, so there's 2 ways into this field. Depending upon where our man's at, we will probably just end up going up to the top end there. We could go in through this entrance here, but we'll leave that. Those bales there, we're going to try and sell at some point. Yeah, they're stacked up neatly. Not causing anyone any harm there. And somewhere, there he is, cruising along nicely. You'd love to see him. He's actually made a good bit of progress. This field is deceptively big, actually. It's a lot bigger than you might think it would be there, and it takes some working through. Even with the size of that tractor, which I think you can see look huge, it's still not it's only 3 meters wide, that machine on the back there, so it will take some going through here. Now with that being said, we're just going to stop here. We'll need to get ourselves all figured out for this side to see where we're going to start, but for now let's go and take a bit of a walk. As you can see, there's actually a few stones in here that we'll have to get the rollers out. Hopefully these won't cause us too many issues. But this was, well, this is a stubble field from some beans that we had in here, actually. And it's, all we're doing really is trashing over the top, mixing it all in, providing a good bit of organic matter to go back into the ground, which is good. In theory, it would reduce the amount of nitrogen we have to put on here. But also, we're kind of getting after the compaction a little bit. So you'll see as Roger comes past us here, the front legs are very deep subsoil legs, but with minimal disturbance on the top. So they're going to rip through, they're going to lift up and break up some of that compaction in the subsoil. And then we should be able just to have a nice light top inches, nice light tilth really that we can drill into. And then we'll roll it down to keep the moisture in. That will be the plan. This machine as it comes past here is huge, absolutely massive there. And it's chugging along, pulling this 3 meter machine. I don't think you could probably go much wider, actually. It sounds like it certainly knows that it's on the back there. Here he comes. There it is. Look at the size of that thing. Hey, very, very impressive. Now, I remember Roger, when he used to come and help my dad, he came in the Ford TW, so that shows you how long he's been going. But yeah, how the times have changed there, but what a machine to change with. But yeah, he will keep going. He'll keep working through his field. He must be, or maybe, I don't know, it's an odd-shaped field there, but he must be a good quarter of the way through it by now. He's started with the longest drags, so in theory it won't take him much time. And so what we do, I am going to get this all set up. I'm going to get our GPS in, make sure the drill is looking good and firing properly, and then we will see how it's all looking. Alright then, so we are looking good to go. I think everything is dialed in, looking nice and tight. We're not going to start right up against the bank side there for the headland. It's a bit of an awkward shape, so we're going to square off the field with our first tram line, then we're going to work our way into the field, chase Roger out really. But I don't think we're going to catch him, but that's fine. So yeah, we've got lots to crack on with. A lot of stones here, like I say, a lot of them are quite small. We'll hopefully see that these will just get rolled in. At least I hope we will. And that's what we're going to try with. So let's, anyway, let's get cracking on, shall we? Drill is all set. We're going to keep despite using GPS, we're going to keep the ridge markers in, if anything, just because I like to see a nice straight ridge marker. And yeah, it's very satisfying for me. So we'll see how we get on with that one. For right now, though, I am in, I want to go in, I'm in 2B. We'll just try and go down to 1, see how we get on with that. And then get some power coming in. There you go. And about 1800 revs there, 1850 holding stable, which is great. Lower the drill down. And I think away we go. All right. Easy. Cool. Okay. This first pass is going to look a little bit messier because we are bringing in a little bit the ridge markers for our tram line. That's fine. And then the far one, of course, is our ridge marker for the drilling. But that is quite okay. We will see how we get on. We'll take a pass. We'll take a look into it, see what it's looking like, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, I do like to try and do as much of my own work just to keep my costs down. Obviously, I'm not going to buy a big plow yet, or a bit. Well, first of all, I couldn't pull a big plow with my tractor, and second of all, you know, it's easier and quicker for me at the moment just to get someone like Roger in to come and do it. And we're also trying to veer away slowly from plowing as well, so that's might become something that's a little bit more redundant. I am looking at a new bit of equipment soon, which we may be picking up if I can get a few more quotes back in the next month or so. So stay tuned for what that might be, because that could be really exciting for the farm, really. So we'll see about that one. But yeah, lots to consider as always, and we'll keep pushing through it all and look forward to seeing what it all looks like. Really, that is a very impressive tractor, though. I'd love to spend a day sitting in his seat. I mean, this is not, by comparison, this is an old tractor now. This is maybe, what, 15 years older, but good heavens, absolutely splendid. The size of the new machines are incredible. Anyway, yeah, we will just keep pushing through. Beautiful day for it, like I say. There's not too many birds out at the moment, which is odd. They're usually all over the place. But we'll keep an eye on that one. The grassland field there, that's probably, we're not sure what we're going to do with that yet. We're still, I don't have any slurry to pull onto it. We'll see. We haven't had much, we had a little bit of rain yesterday. So I should see a bit more growth there, but quite how good a quality it will be anyway. We're not going to graze it over the winter, but we'll leave it and we'll probably put something on it in the spring when we're looking better. But yeah, lots of questions to think about that one. We'll have to get some ideas penciled in for it sooner rather than later. And we might have to come and do a little bit of drainage work in it as well. But these are all winter projects really, and tasks that we'll take on when we get to it. Right now we've still got too much field work to do to think about that. And what I will do, we're going to be putting in our headlands so we can take a little bit of a larger turn circle than Roger is there. There you go. And we're flying. We'll get up to the top end. We'll have a look to see how it's coming in. First tramline discs are in there. The second one hasn't been touched, which is good, which means that everything is working as it should be. And yeah, we will just keep flying through here and hopefully get this all finished nice and quickly. But yeah, it's coming up to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, so we've got a good 5 hours that we can get cracking through this. We'll have to come back and just check in and see how we're looking later on there for milking for the evening, but we'll maybe take an hour off and we'll come back and keep on going through the night there. So we should be in a great shape by end of the day. Certainly probably get at least a quarter, if not maybe a third and a bit of the way through there, which would be great if I can get that much done. That will be fantastic. Now the barley in question we are drilling here is a feed barley. We'll be putting this towards some of our own cattle feed for our finishing cattle, but most of it will be going away. We don't typically go for anything higher for that premium quality there. The main thing we always like to get is the straw. Straw is expensive, and if you can manage to produce your own there, then that is fantastic. Last year we did have to do a little bit of contract straw baling, and we bought a bit of straw off the stubble. We'll have to see. Hopefully we don't have to do too much more of that. But, you know, we'll see how this next year goes in terms of what sort of year it is for growing, and we'll make adjustments as we do. Okay, it's turning over nicely. It doesn't seem to be making too much more disturbance on the top, which is great. Okay, let's just knock that off. Offline back up. Alright, so not a bad looking job. A few stones still there. We're gonna have to get the rollers out. Probably put those onto the Fiat really and just keep booking through that tomorrow. But yeah, it is going in nicely there. Like I say, not too much disturbance. Everything's looking handy. Tram line's gonna be set at 18 meters apart. And that's for our sprayer there, and our spinner we can adjust down to that. Our spinner we can actually put up to 24 if we need to, but we'll keep it at 18, and we should be looking good. So yeah, Andy, very happy indeed with how this is going. You join me in the cab of the 5470 Master Ferguson, and we are carting grain, specifically sunflowers. We're going. We started last night. We're going to get over there in a moment or two and carry on with where we left off. But there's a few little developments around the yard to show you. We've been working on a couple of things, and then they've kind of been put in the back burner for a few reasons, partly of which because we need to get these sunflowers going and the weather is good. So we're going to have a look at that right about now actually, and to see how that's all going. And then yeah, we're going to take you back over to the field. It's just gone about 8:30 in the morning. We've been up for a while already, got a lot done. And yeah, got a lot more to do whilst the weather is good. There's only one field that's ready to go right about now, which in some respects is probably a good thing. And yeah, we'll be able to get those done relatively quickly. Now what we're going to do first of all is actually just like to do a little bit of a U-turn here. So we're going to have to spin into here a little bit. That's lovely, nice and tight. And yeah, we're just going to take ourselves back. With a 3-point turn, never hurt anybody until it did. There you go. Excellent stuff. And we are out. And then yeah, we're just going to park up here. We're not staying here for too long, so I'm just going to leave this about here, I think. And we'll go and have a look. So we've been busy now. Many of you may remember that we had a big wet hole here for the longest time, and it was getting really wet and sticky, and loading and unloading bales into here was becoming a little bit challenging, and it never really cleared up, or it never had the chance to clear up. And then as we were driving over it more and more and more, you know, we have a bit of a hard stand here, but this became wet. So I had a word with the estate. Obviously we are tenant farmers here, so I had to speak to the estate management team, and they gave me the green light to do a bit of digging. So we did yesterday. We've hired in a couple of machines. We've got a 5-ton or 6-ton weight stumper there, and then a little handy, it's a Yanmar actually, a 2.5-ton mini digger in it. We've found the root of the problem. Have we fixed it yet? No, it's in there. But essentially there is a field drain, an old field drain that runs through the corner of this yard. Actually, it's effectively, it's on a diagonal from where I am, so it kind of cuts that last beam of the shed there under the red trailer and away, and eventually joins into a brook down there somewhere. But it's blocked somewhere around here. and it's been bubbling up and it's had nowhere to go. So if you imagine, careful, don't slip in there, all of the water coming down off this field and off this hillside is coming into here, and it's not really got anywhere to go, I guess, here. So it's been starting to bubble up through. We found some of the bits of the old clay pipe that were in here that have been damaged, which is good. So they've been pulled out. Now we are just waiting for a few bits of new drainage pipe to come in. The estate are actually going to acquire those, so they're going to drop them off. And yeah, so we're stuck waiting for that. But the good news is that the solution is very close, and hopefully, he says, hopefully we should see that we'll be able to get this all away. We're just kind of leaving this now to see, now that we've unplugged this morning, just to see if this water will slowly drain away. I'm hoping that it does, and if it does, we've figured it out, we've solved it, so that will be fantastic. And if that is the case, then bingo, we'll we'll leave it be, and then we'll keep that new drain in there. We'll put a bit of stone back over the top. And what we're probably going to do is, this has got a bit of a hollow here, you see. So what we'll end up doing is this, we're going to bring in a whole load of gravel and just level this all out, I think. Get it up to about this height here, this high ground here, this little bit of concrete, and just level it all through. And that should be magic. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. And looking forward to really progressing with that one. But this morning, we need to go and crack on with a bit more of our sunflower harvest. So these have been left a little bit later than normal, with the main reason being that we're trying to allow some of the birds to take some of the seeds. And we're not really, this crop isn't for us here, at least at this stage, isn't really about being a profitable crop. It was a change in our approach, trying to give some back into the ground there, and also with the scheme that we were enrolled in, it's good for the wildlife as well. So, sorry there, sir. So that's what we're hoping to see. So we're going to go and continue to harvest it. We took the combine over last night. We did rent a 6-row header, I believe it is. It's actually a 6-row maize header. So it's doing a fine job for our for these sunflowers here. And the aim is that, well, we went over there last night. It was good to go yesterday afternoon, but we were busy with that. So we got going at about 5 o'clock yesterday evening. Got about an hour going, just breaking off the headlands really, and just getting stuck into the field a little bit. So we made a start, which is good. So we're going to continue from there on this morning and see how we get on, really. The combine just had to change a few things, small little changes to be honest. They're nothing major at all. A few settings on the sieves, on the drum there as well. But other than that, we're all good. It's not like these newer machines where you can just make all these changes and dial changes inside the cab. You have to get out and you actually have to adjust things. But it seems like it's all worked out nicely for us. So we'll keep pottering along today. The weather's supposed to be good for us for today. The smaller field here is not quite ready to go, but we're on the big one around the back. And yeah, we'll see how we get on with it. We're actually carting these straight off to a local mill, where I believe they're going to get pressed and made into, it's going to go to sunflower oil, which is quite cool. We'll have to see how that comes together. But yeah, interesting indeed. Now you'll notice our winter drilled barley is coming through already, and wouldn't you just know it, we'll have a bit of a stop off and look. So is the black grass. So we're gonna have to get into there and have a look, see what we can do with that. I can't really spray it. We might have to see if we get a tine rake into there or something and go in between the rows. But it's going to be a fun challenge. There's also a few bits of weeds. Now the weeds in there we can probably take on. That's not going to be a problem. Let's just stop here. The weeds themselves, not too much of an issue, not too concerned. We can spray that out, that's not bad. We'll get the herbicide on there and we'll be good. It's the and predominantly they do seem to be coming through in the tram line at the moment, so again, something for us to look into. But the yeah, the black grass in places, not so fun. We'll have to have a look see. But yeah, happy with how it looks on the whole though. Nice looking carpet there. That's the only field that we do have drilled so far. There'll be a fair bit going into spring drilled barley, I would imagine, and a bit of I'm not sure what else we'll do there. Maybe get some spring oats in as well, but we'll see. But main thing is that we've got this big field is looking pretty handy, so that's good. And then yeah, once we get these fields drilled, we'll see how once we get these fields harvested, this big field of sunflowers in particular, we'll see how it all looks, see how the ground looks as well. I do have some muck from the calves that we want to bring out here. We're going to cart it out and get it spread quickly where we can. But yeah, we'll have to see just how quickly we can go. That might mean, if we do that, it might mean that we'll have to just hold off until the spring for drilling this. Anyway, we're just going to bring it in past the old girl here. We did empty it out last night. Just did not put the bin lids down. But look at her, basking in the morning glory. Isn't that great? And more plucky. So as you can see, we took a few headlands off this end. I think we've pretty much just been once all the way around. And then squared off that edge over there a little bit as well. So we've got a bit more work to do, absolutely. But we're, you know, it's coming along. It's looking very good. Very good indeed. Combine needs a bit of a touch up. I'm actually thinking there's no rust on here really. It's just all paint chipped off. And I think we might just see if we can get some spray or some spray paint or some touch-up paint from class this summer. And or for next summer really, and get this looking a bit better there, because it really just wants to be looked after a little bit more. Keep it going for another good few harvests for what we need if we can do that, that's for sure. Okay, so just check the oils, make sure everything's looking good there. Turn the dead man switch on as well. Okay, in we come. Now let's give the old girl a bit of a fire up. Oh, nailed it. Okay, so what we're going to do is just let this actually warm through just a little bit. But yeah, lift you up there as well. Perfect. So we leased this header from a nearby machinery rental place really, and it's, no, it is exactly what you'd expect it to be really. It's nothing too fancy at all, but it just allows us to get on with our own machine here without the need of bringing in a contractor. Who at this time of year, when they've got other jobs they could be doing in terms of establishing next year's crop, cost to bring out a combine again, pretty high. So this is handy for us. Should get this field done today, and then yeah, we'll be looking good. So that's, I'm very happy with that. We're not cutting the stalks too high or too low. We're just kind of getting everything we need to. The rest of it we're going to leave just to trash in, because I want to mulch it into the ground to give that organic matter back in. And now, depending upon what we do with this field, we're either going to do one or two things. We'll either add farmyard muck to it and then disc that in as well, and then maybe put a cover crop in and leave that through until the spring. Or if there's enough sufficient organic matter here, we'll just put a cover crop straight into it as well and leave that be, and then we'll drill a crop of spring barley into it in the spring next year. But all these things we'll see until we'll wait until this has all been cleared, and we'll see how it looks. But anyway, that's a bit of time to warm through there. Let's just get this all fired up. There you go. Excellent stuff. All right. So like I say, only been the once around there. We'll probably do another 3 times around just to give us plenty of turn and circle and space to maneuver at the end. This is not the most mobile of girls, so we do need that bit of extra space. Easy, down we go. So we're not, like I say, we're not lowering the header down too much, but that's just enough to get us going through there, and we should be away. We can though, because it's not a very heavy crop, we can go through it with a bit of speed, I found. So we're going about 5-6 miles an hour here, which is wonderful. And opened up nicely, and yeah, the machine seems to handle it very well there. Sometimes if you go through a heavy crop of wheat, for example, with this header on, it does start to have to go out a little bit slower just to allow it to, especially when the chopper's on the back there, just to get everything through. But no, this is handling everything with ease, so that is really pleasing to see. Yeah, otherwise we're looking good, and shouldn't, like I say, good couple of hours in here and we should be well through. We're not making quite as much pace as we'd like because the header's not the biggest, but and it's just me carting at the moment as well, so that is something that we'll have to just crack on with really, and see how we get going. Like I said, we did leave this for a little bit longer. The heads on these sunflowers have been drooping over for a while. This is a great source of energy and feed for wild birds in the area, so we have left it to them to get to. I'm tempted by leaving a bit like a quarter of the next field there just over winter, so the birds can just continue to feed off that. I think that's what we may well do. The price we're getting for these in the mill is not the highest it's ever been, so we're not really doing this to make that huge profit right now. This is with a longer, this is a kind of an investment we make now, so we can benefit for this in the future when we do come to plant our regular crops, such as your winter wheat and your oilseed rape. So we shall see. Looking into a bit of oats as well. Get a few more oats in, like I mentioned. That would be always interesting to see how it progresses. Yeah, beautiful morning foot, really. Absolutely stunning. Allows me to see what the hedge line's looking like for my neighbouring fields as well. We haven't really touched them as far as trimming them up this year. We're just leaving them so they can grow out a little bit, and then when we do come to trim them, which will be, at this rate here, might well be next spring, it will just be control. Rather than knocking it back there, it's going to be control. We have wide margins on our fields anyway, so we have the ability to be a little bit more careful with that and a little bit more conservative in what we actually want to cut back. And it allows a little bit more vegetation, a little bit more habitat as well for everything, which is always what we want to see. Yeah, because we've already been up the other side, we just this field, as we go down to where the silos are on the far ground there, it does open out a little bit. It's like a big V shape, really. So we've squared off that far edge. We don't really need to worry about that. Look at that Massey sitting over there, glistening in the sunshine. Just beautiful. And what we have done as well, we've seek permission from the estate so we can actually use this estate road. This takes us out a little closer to where we need to go in terms of the grain mill. So it just makes things a little bit easier, really, which is rather good for us. Okay. And yeah, we'll spin through that road there when we're ready to go there. Makes it all a bit quicker. We're getting about 2 and a bit loads from the full combine tank into the trailer. Well, everything you see that we've cut prior to starting this morning there didn't even fill a trailer load, so we'll get quite a bit in. And it's just a bit of a nice way for us just to slowly get cracking around on our own here. Might see if I can get someone, get a nephew to come and drive for me. Likes to rag my Massey around though, so I'm not too keen on having him in there too long. Yeah, otherwise this is pretty much all we're going to be cracking along with, really. I thought I'd bring you along for a ride so you can just see how it's all looking and the process that we're taking to harvest this. As you can see, I squared this edge up here already, so we could a little bit more room opening up in this corner. But yeah, this is going to be us now for the day. Hope to get it all done, and then the next steps for this field should be kind of laid out, well, with any luck, in the course of the next week or so. But we'll see. If we can get the pipes that we need and get everything in place in time, I'll bring you an update as far as the hole in the yard is concerned. Yeah, looking forward to it. As you join me on this lovely autumnal day, looking at the hole that is half full. Underneath here is a bit of blue drain pipe that we were able to get in to fix the issue of this big wet hole that we had here that just wasn't going anywhere. Turns out we had to replace about 4.5–5 meters of pipe that had just been completely squashed. Could well have been my doing here for running machinery over this, and the ground just wasn't really set for it properly. Mind you, people have been doing that for quite some years on this stackyard, so you know, anyway, that's by the by, it's happened and we've been able to fix it. So we've had a little bit of a dabble with the machine there to try and get this filled in, but it's just a bit tough going. So we're going to try and use the Massey and see how we get on here with the front loader on. When we get this all filled in, we're going to spread a bit more stone around just to really bring up the level of that stackyard. And then we've got a new bit of equipment to go and pick up. The Massey's, the 5470 is off the grain trailer. We're gonna have to go back onto that because we are going to try to get our sunflower harvest finished up later on if we can, and that will be epic. There's not a great deal. We're into the last field now. We're not going to be taking it all because some of it is going to be staying exactly where it is for wild bird food, so that's going to be pretty exciting to see. I can get around here without hitting anything or causing any more issues, and then try to do all of this without falling into the hole that I dug. That would also be a nice touch. So we can't take a full load of this because, as it turns out, quite heavy. This Massey doesn't really like that too much. But needless to say, we'll just slowly fill this in, and then we should be looking rather good actually. And once this is done, like I said, once this is done, we're going to really raise up the level of this. As you can see, it's sunk down quite a little bit in places, and you only realize how far it's gone once you start to strip back some of the stone. So we're able to do that, and we've been able to see just the extent of what really lies ahead. So ooh, we've got quite a heavy load here, and we'll just take it slow with the bucket on the floor. And then we'll just more doze it into where it needs to be and anything else, I reckon. That'll work. There you go. Perfect. Excellent stuff. Yeah, otherwise we've been quite successful with this. We finished up that first field of sunflowers there. Results weren't all that bad actually, considering that we didn't really put any inputs in there. I'm quite impressed with how it went. And then we've been able to shift the combine over to the second field. But I did get a call from the dealer this morning that our new bit of kit is ready to go. So we do need to go and collect that. And then we can just park that with for now. We will hopefully get to use it this autumn. At least that's the plan. And then we'll get to use it for sure back in the spring as well there. So we've got a lot to do. And hopefully it'll really reap some big rewards for what I have in mind across the farm. And we'll look forward to showing you what that looks like actually, and showing you why we've made that purchase. It's the first new bit of equipment that's been purchased for the farm in my tenure as a tenant here in Calmston, so that's very exciting. Ooh, easy does it. There you go. So we need about another bucket load at the front there, then the rest of it's just gonna get spread around a little bit. And yeah, we should be looking good, and hopefully this provides us with a little bit more structure, a little bit more flexibility, and yeah, that will just allow us to have a drier stackyard that we can use throughout really. This bit here would always get really wet in the winter, and then the winter that we had as well, it just didn't shake that the moisture, and it just couldn't get rid of it all, and then it turns out that that drain pipe had just been completely plunged in, so perhaps that was why. But anyway, we're going to do a little bit more shunting around here, backwards and forwards, get this all leveled up. A little bit of work to do. We'll try and run that dozer over a few times as well, I think, just to really get it dialed on in there, and we shall see what it looks like. We shall see you all later on. Well, do you know what, folks? It's not perfect, but it's a darn sight better than what it was. We've run out of stone, really. There's a little bit of a hollow there that we want to get figured out, but we also need to still at some point put the fence back in, so we can get that done. What we might do is take the stone that we've got over there, which is not quite so clean, and try and get that screen through a little bit, or shake out some of the dirt where we can. But yeah, it's ultimately, as a whole, I think it's looking a lot better actually, and that is going to be a much cleaner, drier hard stand for us there. So I am a big fan. Now, I must go and jump in and go and pick up our new shiny bit of equipment. So we're going to jump on into the 5470 fire here up as well. It's not too far to go to the dealers. Really isn't much of a trek. We're going to pick this up, and then we're literally just going to park up in the shed and come back to that a different day, because we do need to go and hopefully finish harvest off for the day, or for the season. So that'd be cool if we can. And then yeah, we are still a little undecided what we're going to do with some of our fields, if we're going to put them into a cover crop or not, and then drill them for some spring drilling. We've got that one field of winter barley which has come along and it's looking very good actually, so we'll have to see how the rest of them go and see if it's worthwhile investigating that as an option. But for now at least, we at least get that field cleared. I have decided, and I'll show you which area I'm looking at, but the field that we're going into, which is around about the 17-18 acres, I think we're going to leave best part about 6 acres down one side, and that is going to eventually, or it's just going to be left for all the winter nesting birds, and it's going to be a good source of feed for them. So obviously sunflower seeds are all just seeds, birds like to eat seeds, everyone's a winner. So we're going to put that down in our and change the classification of that section of the field for this year, so it gets recognized as like a wild bird feed plot. And then we'll put the rest of it into hopefully maybe winter barley, but we'll see. So that's the plan. The cattle or the beef stock are getting dangerously close to needing mucking out, so we'll have to cart some muck sometime in our future. So we'll have to get that one all sorted out, but just desperate to get this harvest finished so we can move on, get it done, stop worrying about it, and move on to the next step there. So that'll be something we have to think about moving forward there as well. And yeah, we shall see. But we've been busy. It's been a good couple of days there. Anyway, the weather's been fantastic. It really has been stunning, to the point where I almost thought about if it was worth it or not to knock back some of the grass and just bale up, just to control the speed that it's growing at. But we thought against it for now, just mainly as well. Haven't got enough time to fit it all in, but we'll see should that change anytime in the future. Okay, so we are here. Oh, and they've left it right out in the middle as well for me. Perfect. All right, so this might not look like much to some. Can you tell what it is yet? We are just going to pick this up and we'll lift it up off the floor and have a bit of a better look at it as well. I'm very excited about this though. Ooh, easy does it. All right, let's get this all set up. All right, so this is the Evers minimal low disturbance subsoiler flat lifter, really. We are using this on our grassland, or we will only be using this on our grassland. Very simple machine, very good at what it's designed to do there, and perfect for restoring grassland and drainage within grassland, reducing compaction. That is going to be the key thing. These discs at the front slit through the soil there, provide a bit of an easier path of resistance for the main legs, which then go through, rip through that, lift up that compacted pan, and then the rollers behind come and press everything back down again so it's left nice and even. This will be used for us predominantly on all of our pastoral land, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reseeding, we're going to be stitching grass back into some of this land, but I don't want to plow. I want to do as much minimum tillage as possible. So the idea being that this replaces the need of that plow. It still keeps a grass cover across the field there. It allows you to effectively achieve the same job in some instances as the plow would, breaking up through that compaction there, ripping through it there, easing it all out, but it just doesn't bring along the same issues in terms of perhaps soil erosion there, additional compaction that you may get from plowing, where it just brings a different kind of a pan there, really. You get the wheelings to go with it. We don't have a plow, so we'd have to get a contractor in for the cost of that. Fuel prices are going through the roof, which means the contractor's prices are also going through the roof at the moment. This should allow us to be able to pull it on the back of this tractor. All the fields that have had heavy grazing on them, livestock, particularly cattle, do plunge around a lot when the ground gets wet there, so they can cause a lot of compaction on their own. So this allows us to really alleviate all of that. We are going to be looking to get someone in with a direct drill to stitch some grass seeds in over the top of it to really increase the quality of the grass layer that we have. And so this machine and that reseeding there will go hand in hand. So it's going to be really, really interesting for us. Really looking forward to see how this works. In the next couple of days, we're going to set that at the old stable field that was once upon a time had an equestrian center in there. It's showing the signs of it. The grass doesn't grow very well in places at all. Oh dear. So this is going to be a great opportunity to see if we can really lift up that soil there and break through that compaction, particularly where they had their arena. We'll reseed it all and we'll see how it looks, and we can have another good strong field for us. So that is the plan. Looking forward to seeing how it works out. Obviously it might take a little bit of time, and that's absolutely fine for us to get going, but like I said, unfortunately today we're not going to get too much of the time to play around with it there. I'm hoping that this mini digger and the dumper disappears soon enough. So we are going to get this all put away. We'll park this up in the shed, and then we can look at just trying to get on with the harvest there, really. Cattle here are looking great. They really are. I think we'll get in front of the woofler there for now. That should be fine. Perfect. Yeah, very simple design, very lovely little bit of equipment there. Very, very happy with it, actually. And also not too expensive. That's part of the reasons why we went for it in the end, just because of the we did a bit of a cost-based analysis on it, really, and it just made sense for us, really. We could see hopefully a large improvement in soil quality, therefore grass quality, and hopefully, really, if you extrapolate that out into quality and quantity of milk production, and also the beef quality as we finish our beef cattle off there. So all very good indeed. Now, what we'll do is I'm just gonna get this all turned around, and then we're gonna go off through the hay meadow, off into the sunflower field. We'll have a bit of a walk through that to go and seek the combine, get the plan going, and get ourselves started with the last of the harvest. This yard is always a little tight, but we'll make it work. Might just have to mount the slurry lagoon there a bit. Perfect stuff. Okay. I love this little track through here. It's such a nice little area to drive through. This field here, this is one of the fields I was really looking into. It's got a lot of grass coming into it now. It's really starting to grow back through it. If it was a little bit taller, you know, we'd be strongly thinking about knocking that back down again, but we'll leave it for now. It's not going to grow much more, and the quality is certainly not going to be great anyway, so we'll just leave it be. We are going to come down our little forest path here, and I think we can probably just leave this tractor here for now. Let's just knock it out of gear. Handbrakes up. Perfect. We'll go for a walk. So this is the field that we need to harvest, and as I mentioned, we're going to leave about 6 or so acres of it. So what we're going to end up is leaving all the strip along by the wood side here. I think that makes sense. Bit of shelter. We'll probably end up coming out to about here, I think, and going all the way along. So that's going to be the plan. As you can see, all these heads are drooping over now, and all the seeds are almost falling out there, really. So it's prime time to harvest it. Also, the seeds will just drop to the floor, or they'll just stay in the shells there, and birds can pick away at them to the heart's content. And I'm more than fine to leave that for them. What we'll do is just bring the combine right down the middle, split the field up a little bit there, and then we'll clear the rest of the field and get cracking along with it, really. But yeah, it's an odd-shaped field here, but it's a fairly lengthy field. Should be pretty good for what we need. And yeah, hoping to see that these that we get the similar sort of yield off this field as we did for the field just over the hillside there. Really quite impressed with that, actually. I have to work out the calculations for tons to the acre, and what that reflects a good yield for sunflowers or not, but I'm happy with how it's going there so far anyway. Look at the combine just glistening. It didn't skip a beat, it really didn't. We'll try and get this done today so that we can return the header, or at least get someone to come pick it up so we don't get charged for an extra day's usage. But yeah, it's worked out really well for us as well, so that's all very good. All right, go on. I'll get this isolator switch on. I'm going to let this tick over for a little bit, and we'll get cutting through the middle of this field. All right, so we're kind of cutting across the rows. This is the way it's going to work out here, I think, because of the shape of the field, but we're cutting. That's the main thing. We've left a little bit too much there, a bit too rich, but we'll work our way in there until we figure out what we want. What I'm probably going to end up doing as well is just cutting into where the gate is anyway, so that'll probably work out just fine. And that is going to be where we leave you for today. Lots happening over at the farm here, lots to get going with. We're finally turning the corner and harvest. The yard's looking better, and more new machinery arriving as well, so really happy with how we're progressing. And we are coming back down to our field of sunflowers that we've finished. And we're going to take the combine back to the yard, get that out of the way for now. It's parked over the corner of the field because that is where we finished after dropping off the header for the hire company to come pick up, which they very graciously did so. This is what we left. It's not quite as much as I first thought we were going to leave. It's probably about 5 acres-ish. Originally it was going to be about 6, sorry, but it's probably about 4.5, 5. But that is going to be left to wilt away, and eventually that is going to become, well, it kind of already is, wild bird seed. for all of the winter nesting birds. So we're gonna leave that there for them, really. I think that'll be a nice little touch. And also, you know, we did okay. This part of the field, whatever we grow here, because it's so close to the trees, doesn't ever really yield too well. I'm not too concerned, and we did okay off the other bits and pieces as well. But as far as like a break crop goes, this has been quite good. So what we're going to do with this field is a few different things, really. But first of all, we're going to take the combine back, and then a few things to look at around the yard, and we'll get ourselves going with one of our main events for the day, which should be quite interesting. And we'll get ourselves going there. This is probably just going to have we knocked the chopper down there last night just so we could dust out and blow out all of the dust from inside there. But not much is going to happen to this now. It's going to be put away. A lot of the dust has been blown off with a leaf blower anyway. So we should be pretty good. What we'll end up doing here is just parking this in the shed out of the way. And leaving it be for now, I think. That should be the best way to go. Nice to get the old girl out, but also it's nice to get it put away so we can forget about harvest for now. Get focusing on the rest of the cultivation work. I want to try and get some more winter barley in the ground soon. And then at least one more field done before we can kind of forget about it, really. So we'll have to see how we get on with that. But with that being said, we will just get this tucked away. We're going to take it through the woods today again, which would be pretty cool. It's always nice to do. And it's just a bit easier than winding this big thing up the road. But we do need to get a bit square onto it and stop cracking into that gate so much. Perfect, that way I guess. I mean, it's a bit tight, but we'll get through. Easy does it. Alright, we're through. Perfect. Take our time to avoid those branches. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be spending a bit of day carting muck today, which would be good. With a lot to get moved out from the beef cattle shed. So we'll get on with that. It's going to go onto our stubble ground where we'll be using up there. The yard has stayed pretty dry so far. It's only been a few days since we last recorded though, so not much has happened. Haven't really looked at it. All the construction equipment's disappeared though, which is fantastic news. Very happy about that. And I'm hoping that will be us all good. Well, what we are going to do though is just stick this straight into the shed, I think. Or at least into the wash bay out of the way. Everything's been fed up this morning there. We got a good start on it. And I'm hoping that we'll be able just to get a good run at carting this muck out. So I do need to hire in a spreader of some sort so we can actually get the spread. We'll look to do that in the next few... Well, it's probably going to be in January actually, but by the time we come to get that actually applied. So give it a bit of time to heat up in the heap. Should be great. And we'll see how it goes from there. Now, we'll do is just stop here. There's our new subsoil. Again, another to-do list there is to actually get that into some use, which should be good. Right, so we're going into there. What I think we're going to do for now is just stick it there out of the way. Too much going on in this yard at the moment to worry about anything else. So I'll happily just stick it there for now. Run that side. Don't miss the tractor that's just there. Excellent stuff. All right, and she's on. Fantastic. So yeah, like I say, dairy here, they're doing very well. They're really starting to kick along. Actually starting to see a good amount of milk production there, which is fantastic. The pigs are also flying. They're really settled in, actually. I was told to expect a little bit of an uncertain period when they were really trying to find their own. Because we recently updated our quantity. So they've kind of settled themselves in there, and they're looking pretty good for it as well, which is fantastic. I'm going to show you what they're looking like. Now this is the field that we're going to be using the flat lift in. See all these patches around here? We're going to get this all lifted through at some stage. And then when that's done, we'll look to reseed this actually. So I don't know if we'll get it reseeded before the end of the year. Nothing's going to be on here between now and then anyway, so it could be a good job for the spring. But the piggies are looking very, very happy indeed. Quite fat as well, that one. Fantastic to see. Feeding, looking very, very happy indeed. So we'll leave them to do their bits and pieces. So anyway, let's get ourselves ready to go. The 5470 is all parked up, ready to go this morning. And that shall be our chariot. Very happy to have got the harvest done. So now we don't have to worry about washing out the trailer at all. In between loads. So we're going to be sticking some muck into there, but that's all looking good. We do have a little bit of stone left over from our escapades with the yard. And we'll see, but it's coming together really well, or I thought it's coming together very, very well indeed. If I show you, so hop over here. You know, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot more compacted as well, so it's sturdy, it's stable, which is fantastic for what we want to see. So I am very, very happy with how that's turned out. What we'll do now though is jump on in. We already got the muck grab on the front. Let's lift that up there, and we are all good to go. Perfect. Feed is looking nice and clean as well, which is what you love to see. That everything's been worked through on it as well. So I'm very, very happy with where we are with our machines right now. In all transparency as well, we did actually really quite well with the income for the sunflowers. So what I think we'll do is look to invest some of that into the little plot that we have here that we're going to start to work on in advance a little bit. Quite how that's going to come together yet, I don't know. We're still planning that out. I think it'd be nice to get a little bit of an extra bit of diversification in. Alright. What I haven't done with this though, despite hooking it up, is actually hook up my pipe. So let's go and do that. That's going to make the grab work a little bit better. There you are. Perfect. So this all just gets scraped out from the pen where the beef cattle are being held. All these bales have been down for a while, so they're probably good to actually be cut open at some point when we need to. We're not going to do that anytime soon though, but that will be our next step. We also need to pick up some more mineral feed. We're going to try and get a bit more of the rationing going for the cattle here, get a bit of all-round beneficial ration for them. So we'll have to look into that one and get a little bit more work done, because they have been, for the summer at least, they've been on a lot more grass and hay, and that's done them quite well. But we need to start finishing off the beef cattle particularly and get a little bit more of a better finish and a bit more weight to them as well. So that's going to be something to look at. And up we go. Take this load here. Fantastic. Excellent stuff. Anyway, so yeah, this is the plan for most of the morning at least. I would think a couple of loads of this taken away. There's probably going to be a good 3 or 4 loads here, I would imagine. And we'll see how that goes. To it into the field there, start to get a bit of a pile going, and we can build it up from there. And hopefully, like I say, we'll be spreading it into some stubble ground before we get going with the spring drilling campaign. And we'll see how that looks. The aim for us as a farm for this next 12 months really is to work on establishing our crops for as little artificial inputs from a fertilizer standpoint as possible. So wherever we can look to minimize our inputs, that's exactly going to be what we'll look to do there. So it's going to be a challenge for sure. A lot of work to do with it, but we'll figure it out. We always do, and it's going to be a nice opportunity for us to do a bit of a dive into that, I think. So we'll keep you along for the ride there, let you know how it goes as always. If you have any experience in this, do let us know as well. I'd love to hear about it and see what worked for you and what you've tried. Okay. Well, the thought often crosses my mind as well about maybe just getting a contractor in with a big loading shovel and a big spreader to come in to spread this for us. If anything, just because it would make the loading of it that little bit faster. Now, if it might come to that, we'll see. But we'll have to see what we're looking like for time. See if Roger can come back in again as well and help us out there. That'll be pretty cool. What we'll do is that we'll get this one loaded up and then we'll take you for a drive as we go and cart this away. See where we're going to tip it. See what the next steps are, really. Alright, that'll just about do for load number 1 at least. We'll get this load taken away. And let's see how we get on with this, shall we? We're going to try and cut through a field because it's traveling pretty well. And we might as well make the most of that whilst we can, I find. So off we go. Do love this time of year around here. All of these trees, this look absolutely fantastic. They really, really do. Now, we're just going to creep our way down here. If we can, we want to try and go out this way because it means we're not going to make such a mess. There we go. I can always come back along the road there. I don't mind that at all because we're not carting muck along the road that way. Alright. Wish I had some more sheep around to graze on here. That would be pretty ideal. All good grass left there. Just take our time down here. Ooh, may have found a bit of a softer bit. Ooh, I did as well. There we go. Good heavens. Anyway, we're flying through. So we're going to actually drop this in the field, the first field that we harvested. That's going to be the bigger field that needs the most of our attention. This field, because we're probably going to put a cover crop into here actually over the next few weeks. So this one's going to be fine. We can absolutely leave this be. But yeah, I would like to get that other field done and dusted, ready to go. So we'll see how we get on with that, really. Ooh, didn't like that gear change either. Let's just stick in what we know, I think. Take our time up here. There is, of course, a longer way around we could go, but we're not going to focus too much on taking the stone track all the way that way. If we, worst case scenario, if this is not passable too much, which, you know, it's getting better, we might just have to stay in the one gear here, I think, and just ride the momentum. Making the massive bark, though, that's what you love to hear. I'm going to be fascinated to see. We might see if we can get someone to come out and have a look, see just what birds are actually feasting on here. There's usually going to be a lot of game pheasants that will be feeding off here, which is great. I want to see if we get anything else as well. The pheasants take a lot more advantage of it when the heads start to drop on the floor. But yeah, we will very much see. Need to get the estate to come, and we actually have to lock up some of these gates around here. The gates that are onto my land that I don't need. But back onto a neighbour's land, we actually have to padlock them up there to stop trespassers coming through from the main road and trying to hair course on the fields there, amongst other things. So we have to be a bit more careful with that. Very sad and tragic, but that's the way of the world these days, it does seem. Whoa, come on, girl. All right, we are flying. There you go. So, where we're probably going to tip this is somewhere just along the edge here. About here looks good enough. Let's just take a little bit off. There's going to be quite a few loads coming out here by the time we're finished, all being well. So we need to be prepared for that. All about to do here, I think. And then we are going to stick a few more loads here now and just see how we get on, and then we'll come back to you with a bit of an update and see how the progress is coming along actually. All right, then that is load number 2 in the books. Second time round, we decided not to come back through the field loaded. Went back along the road. We still cut through the forest there, but we went along the main road, make it a little bit easier. So this time we're going to go back through here, and we'll see how we get on the second time around. And we're going to just book it along this bottom end here. Try and stay roughly in the same place again. Just trying to keep compaction in mind here where possible. Excellent stuff. And that is going to be that really. Busy little day for us here, trying to crack along and get as much done as we can. Shouldn't take us much longer. There's maybe about 3 or 4 loads left there for the day. And we'll see, hopefully we're going to get a bit more of this through the course of the next, I don't know, probably wherever we are now. I'd say we're going to see them inside for another 4 months, I'd say, depending upon how good or bad the weather is. So we'll make the most of that. And then yeah, by springtime next year we'll be able to see the big transformation in these fields as we really look to push them on a bit there. So I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing how this all comes along. Let me know how you're going on your farm, if you have any suggestions on what you've been doing there to increase your diversity, because I'm always all ears for that one. We've got a few ideas in the mix as well, which we're looking forward to show you, starting with a bit more produce being made from there, and we'll see how that goes. Now this is going to be the trickier part. Just have to swing wide there. Great stuff. And then we'll get ourselves in to continue, I do think. And that will be all she wrote. Look at the sunlight bouncing off that massey. What a treat. And we're going to have to keep this open somehow, and then we'll be good to get this all done. You join me here in our field of barley. And we are just filling out the sprayer here. We just have to go back to the yard to fill up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tram lines left maybe. We are in here spraying a bit of herbicide today. Broadleaf herbicide called Atlantis, with the specific reason that there's a little bit of a broadleaf weed starting to come into here, and you'll see it placed on the headlands there. It's the easiest to detect it really, and we just want to get ahead of that before it becomes a little too much. So we've got the sprayer on. I'm just going to lower down the boom. Like I say, we just got back from filling up there. We're going to get our GPS set up before we do anything else here, because that's always a good one to do. So we'll just get our AB line back in, because for some reason here it did remove it, which is less than ideal. But we're just going to set that, and then we can go back again. You can see in the tram lines ahead of me here, we do have all those weeds that we need to get rid of. We just want to stop them from spreading through the field. There's a few patches here and there. So that's done. So what we'll do is just stick that on. There you go. We'll just get back to our mark and we can start here. Very primitive GPS, but it still allows us to be as efficient as we can be. We don't have any of that shut off yet available to us here in the section control, but we're going. And so the aim of today is a couple of things really. We're going to finish off this field here, which should only take a minute or two to do. Like I say, there's only a couple of tram lines left. And then we are off. We picked up another second-hand bit of equipment. This one was a bit of a bargain for what it is. And it's actually going to be used in a couple of fields, namely that one over there and the one over there as well. But it's also keeping in line with our approach for our sustainable farming really, and trying to be as efficient with our practices as possible. So should be interesting to see how that goes. We need some more fertilizer because soon this is going to want a bit of a top up. It's in need of an application nitrogen anyway, so we'll have to do that. We haven't got any at the moment, so that's going to be put on hold for a little while. And then yeah, so lots to do really, lots to do. And we are at that time where we're just going to try and focus on getting everything drilled up right about now, because it's just better and more advantageous to do it now. Everything that's going to be done now at least can get done in the nicer weather, and we can worry about the all the other little bits and pieces we have to do around the farm once the crops are in the ground. That is always going to be the key bit for us, so we shall see. But yeah, otherwise everything's doing very well, I must say. Really pleased with how we've got on recently, and we're looking very, very good indeed. Stayed nice and dry as well for us, which is always the key thing. We really are able to crack along, or I'm able to crack along when the weather stays kind to me, so that's always really good. And yeah, we're very impressed with this crop of barley that we're in here, by the way. This is looking very, very good. We're just going to get the weeds under control, which we should start to see that take effect in the, well, hopefully in the next few days. We'll start to see those wilt over in about 4 or 5 days, usually. We'll get around there. We're on normal ties at the moment. We haven't gone to any row crops. We just don't need to at the moment. The crop's not that bad. Not too tall either. So any damage it may take at the moment, any wheeling marks, we'll hopefully be able to grow out there as well. And we should be okay. We're rocking an 18-meter sprayer. This spray we've had for a while, again, not new to us, of course, but it's in remarkably good condition. It's kept inside, it's cleaned down after every wash, which is handy and allows us to keep an eye on everything, keep on top of it all as well, most crucially perhaps. So that's always really good. And we don't have a huge acreage of arable land, really. When you run the Tenant Farmer of around about the 250 acres, you know, you don't need anything much bigger than this, and this does everything we need, and it cuts down on the costs that we would incur from a contractor as well, so that's always really good. Around we go. I think there's only going to be one more after this one, and then we're all set, really. So hope you're all doing very well. Do let us know what you're getting on with, how your harvest is going, and what you're moving forward to next. Like I say, we've got a few little smaller projects lined up, really, but they just have to wait until we get this all done and dusted, really, and then we can certainly move on to plan B. The equipment I bought is going to save us a little bit of time for sure. It's going to save us a lot of money in diesel costs and contractor fees as well, actually. So one's going to be a bit of a trial to see how it works, really, in terms of if it's going to be a practice that we'll maintain. But it's more of an experiment, I must say, than anything else there. But it's an experiment that I'm really intrigued to see how the cost of it and the benefits of it. So we'll see how that all works out there. And then it's also going to be very crucial for us for our grassland work as well. So there's a lot of benefits across the board here, and we'll have to keep an eye on it and see how we progress. First job of the day, though, is get this all wrapped up. We'll take you back to the yard there, and we'll show you what we've bought, really. Alright, everybody, we've been able to get the sprayer folded up there. We're all finished. We're going to head on back down to the farm now. Now, we are supposed to get some nitrogen onto this field soon, but we ordered some solid fertilizer weeks ago, and it still hasn't arrived. We didn't order too much of it because the cost of it was out of this just phenomenal. And we do have a very small bit of liquid fertilizer left in one of our storage tanks. So the aim might be for us to hang on to that and to use that liquid fertilizer that we have, because I just can't guarantee when this solid fertilizer is going to arrive. So probably next 2 days or so, we're going to look into what it looks like for us to actually get that going and to start working with that. But today we're going to go back to the yard there. Everything we need is back in the yard already there. I went out in the smaller loader tractor to pick up the new machine, and I think I might actually use it on that one to start with, at least. The first field, ooh, easy does it there. First field shouldn't be a problem, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, hopefully it should go in nice and easily, and if it does, then that is fantastic there. So and we picked up some seed as well. We need to get a little bit of seed, so I did a run earlier on today. Got just a couple of pallets, should see us through. And yeah, it'd be nice to get the loader tractor out for something other than yard work, really. And we'll keep I think what's going to happen now as well, we'll keep the sprayer on here for now, because we're going to, like I say, will be a little bit of liquid fertilizer going out there. I just don't want to put it all out too soon. I would love a little bit of rain to come in between, actually, if we could get some, but I'm not sure what the forecast is looking like, to be honest. But we'll see. Anyway, into the yard we go, and I'll show you the second bit of equipment that we bought there. show you what that's looking like and the intentions behind it, and we should be looking all very good indeed. Don't often come through here actually. Nice just to rumble our way on through to the yard. Very handy having that extra yard turn circle there, really is good. Now what we're going to do for right now, in fact I probably I'm going to back this in, I think. There you go. At some point there we will have to run the wash cycle on this spray, rinse the tank out so that we can put liquid fertilizer in, but we don't have much, but there's a little bit over there, enough for what we need anyway, and we'll just creep our way back. Excellent. Right, so like I say, a couple of pallets, not too much seed there. We don't really need too much at this time anyway. We have got some cover crop seed there, which is going to be a mixture of everything really. There's a bit of veg, bit of oilseed, radish in there as well. Some oats as well as many other different bits and pieces, all which are going to really aid our compaction, which would be great. And then in here we've got a bit of oilseed, rapeseed. We're actually going to put another kind of break crop in really into the back of the sunflower, or one of the fields of sunflowers, and we'll see how that goes. It's a bit of a test. Looking forward to seeing what, with hopefully the benefit being that it's just going to improve that root structure, but we'll see. And this is our new machine, would you believe it or not there. This is a 6 meter wide, this is Gutler, this is essentially a grass tine and grass drill really, for want of a better phrase there. This is going to go through, it's going to work over the surface, and then it's going to broadcast in our seed at around about 6 meter width there, so it's going to be perfect for us. Again, we're really looking into trying to minimize plowing, minimize heavy cultivation, so it's going to be a bit of a test. This is going to broadcast in the cover crop seed that we're going to start with, and then it's also going to have a chance to jump on in and do the oilseed rape as well. See how it goes with that, then we'll roll it straight in after it, of course. But I'm intrigued, I'm very interested to see how it holds out and how it performs. The cost to apply and the cost to establish the crop with this is minimal. It takes very minimal horsepower to pull it and to power it, hence the reason why it's on the 56. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a great opportunity for us, really. I really do, and I'm very intrigued to see how it all how it pulls out and pans out, really. So we'll have to see. You can join us on that journey. We will, of course, be using it to stitch in a bit of grass seed into some of these paddocks around here, just to refresh those, which should be interesting, really useful to see how they perform. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed. So it's going to do a few bits and pieces, got a bit of seed to load up into here, and then we'll get ourselves away, really. Well, okay then. Tractor is just warming through there again. I think we're ready to go. We should be, and what might likely happen is we'll walk back over later on and bring this truck over with the extra seed that we might need. Let's just jump on in. All right, diesel's about a third of a tank there. It should be good enough for what we need. All right, let's get ourselves away. Front loader can act as a little bit of traction for us here today. That's fine. Okay, and away we go. Another benefit of using the slightly smaller loader tractor here, of course, is that the weight that we're putting into the field there, the compaction is going to be far less than it would be using the bigger, heavier 5470. So the 6-cylinder version is a little bit of a, well, it's a much bigger tractor to be honest with you there, but yeah, it'll do a fine job for us. So let's go out and about. Let's go see how we get on today, shall we? So we're going to, I think, we're going to go and start with our cover crop field really today. That is going to be the large field where we carted muck to the other day there. We're going to try and get some lime in as well, that we can try and spread over the course of early spring. So we're going to keep carting muck out there as and when we need to. Bit of lime out there as well. We'll get all that spread. So we're really going to try and aid this soil quality over the next, what will it be, 4 or 5 months really. Cover crop is designed to do a few things. It's designed to capture as much sunlight as possible, bring that into the soil, But it's also designed to break up any compaction that might be in the soil as well without the need of bringing in any heavy cultivation. So that should be really interesting to see. When it comes to establishing the crop of, we're probably going to go for spring barley in there. I'd suggest when it comes to establishing that, we will be doing it through as much of a minimum tillage approach as possible there. So it's really going to be quite interesting to see how that works out. And we will see. This field, like I say, this one's going to go into oilseed rape. And we'll be obviously leaving the sunflowers here just to continue to wilt over time. Let the birds feed off of those. That should be great. And we'll see how it all comes together. With the field that we're going into, we don't need any tram lines in there or any description. So all we're going to be able to do is just drill this in nice and quickly. I can set this up so it will provide me with a tram line. It is possible to do. It takes a little bit of fiddling, but I'll have a play with it, I think. And we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be an interesting challenge. Interesting to see how it performs. Oh, we'll get up that hill there. There you go. A little bit sticky there. Ooh. Just a little light on the back end, but never mind. We're through. I think we'll just go down here and start way down at the bottom end. Quite large field, this one as well, so it's it will take some working over. A lot of organic matter on the top as well. We're just going to leave that and hope that we can slowly mulch that in, really, especially when we come to drilling in the spring there. You want to see that gets worked in a little bit there with the muck, with the lime as well, so we shall see how that goes. But let's just get ourselves all set up here anyway. We're probably going to go down a gear, start there. Oh, and there it goes. Nice and simple. Before we do anything else, have a bit of a wander around there. It's all looking very good. Excellent. You can see, so this was bought used. You can see that it has been used a lot. There's a bit of paint missing in various different places there, and it's all it's had a life. Let's put it that way there, but. Still not a bad deal, actually, all in. Paid about 12,000 for this. I think stock price, if you were looking at it new there, is close to about 20. So, you know, I was happy with it. And it's, you know, that's where we have to look for our options and our opportunities here. And I think this should be a great one to come. I don't foresee us buying too much else in the future. The only other thing we're looking into really will apply or require a few grants. So we're just waiting to see what they turn up like. Okay, so it looks like that's working. I just need to change a few things with my settings here. All right, you can hear the fan is going there. I think we should be good. Let's knock this down and see how we get on, really. Just struggling a little bit up the hill there, but there we go. I think that we're looking better. How's that looking? So we just need to have a bit of a play around with it. We're not quite dialed in properly with this. I think it's to be expected, really, first time out with it and all. So we're gonna have a bit more of a play around, see if we can figure out our next steps with this one, and we'll get it working there. We're just not quite having the seed coming through at the moment, so I don't know what I need to change around there, but we'll have a play anyway. And we'll see how we get on here. What we will do is bring you along for the ride when we do get into something a little bit more interesting there, such as the hopefully soon we'll be drilling the oilseed rape through the hedge there, and we'll show you what this looks like when it's all drilled up and when it's all finished to go. So that should be rather exciting. Until then, though, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, I do hope you have enjoyed. If you have and you've yet to do so, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to Simulation for the Nation for more if you've yet to do so. I have been David, though. This has been your update from the Tenant Farmer. Until next time, we'll see you in the next one. So do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing as always, and we'll catch you later. You join me out in the field. We are just coming down to our field of oilseed rape that we finished drilling up yesterday. It's all done. The Land Rover's still out in the corner here. Haven't need that today, so we need to take that back along. But today's task, well, this evening's task at least, is going to be for us to get this field all rolled out. And then once we're done, we are done. Now, what we do need to do, though, in order for us to go as swimmingly as we would hope. Is just take the pins out there and there. That one. So what we're gonna have to do here is get this all attached. It's an old beast. It is a manual machine, but it works well. We're gonna have to just do a little bit of a wrestle really as we get this all connected. We're rolling this in. It drilled as well as one could expect, really. I think. I certainly believe so. And I'm really pleased with it. So what we're gonna look to do is just get this all rolled in. It's due for a spot of rain in the coming. Well, I imagine it's probably going to be in the next day or two. So if we can get this all rolled down before that, I'm a happy boy. But what we need to do to ensure that we can do that is just get everything connected. And then we'll get going. It should be pretty easy once we do get a start. Put that one onto there. And then what we'll have to do, this is where it gets a little bit more challenging. But I'm just going to take a bit of a spin around this way. And we'll get this all paired up. We'll get this all hooked on, and then we can get ourselves going here. Essentially, all we're trying to do is just give our seedbed the best quality conditions really to get going. And we'll stop all that. I can make that work. This one might need a bit of a roll backwards there. There you go. That's going to be like a bit more. There you go. Awesome stuff. And with that, we're gonna get rolling here. Now, this field was cultivated over, then we drilled directly into it really with our tine seeder really. Which be interesting to see how it goes. We did put the drill onto the 5470 just to get a little bit more weight on the tractor there, a little bit more power, and also the GPS. So that was able to give us a much better looking finish there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all comes through. Now that we're all hooked up, we'll get ourselves away for a little bit of rolling here and we'll see how it all comes together. But the first thing we must do when it is as warm as it is out there is get the aircon on. So both doors are open. Let's find ourselves a gear that works for us here. And we'll get ourselves away. Looking a little bit better there, I think. We're off. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, like I say, all we're doing is just trying to roll this over here, get a nice compact seed bed, keep the moisture in there, which will allow everything to start germinating nice and easily. This is going to probably, we should start to see something come through in the next week or so. So hopefully that will come on through, and then we'll be good. Yeah, looking very good. Dust is flying as well, which is great. Just want to find a slightly better gear for us here, I think. Let's go there. There you go. Now we're cooking on a bit more gas. So a nice easy job to do for this autumnal evening here. Of course, we're going to have to take the Land Rover back over in a little bit. What we'll probably end up doing is get this all done. Everything's sped up over at the farm anyway, so we don't need to worry too much about finishing this up before tomorrow morning. We'll get as much done as we can before it gets dark, and then we'll take the seed trailer back on over there as well. But yeah, this is, for all intents and purposes right now, at least this is the end of our drilling for this season. We'll have one more field to put in the at least one more field, I'll say at the moment, to put in the new year, but we'll wait for the spring for that one. And then really what we can focus on now is a few little smaller jobs that I wanted to do just to bring up the farm into a little bit more of a better shape really. Some of the land work that we need to do we can get cracking along with now as well. So we will be looking to get a bit of grass seed in the ground very soon, just to really make things tick through that bit better there. As you can see though, it seems to be rolling down magnificently well. Really does look good, which I'm delighted for. And yeah, we'll just keep going. Nice to get the old girl away from the Keenan for just a little bit. It seems to spend a lot of his time stuck on that, so it's always enjoyable when you can get it onto something else. We're probably rolling here, I think we're around about the 6 meter-ish mark, which is not too bad. I need to get over a little bit. But I guess things done. Now we did put tram lines in. I think they're going to be quite rudimentary tram lines. They might not be the best because of the design on that grass seeder really. It's not really designed for anything other than that. It can, and it did drill the oilseed rape there, but it's, yeah, we'll have to see how productive it was. One thing I do know is though that the ability and the input cost of drilling this oilseed rape was considerably less, so that's worked out in our favor for sure. And we'll have to see if it's going to be an approach that we maintain and we continue with over the future, or if it's not. But yeah, very intrigued to see how we continue. And I hope everything is going well with yourself. Do let us know down below what you're getting on with, what's driving at the moment there, and how it's all going. And we will, yeah, always love to see all of those updates. Very, very unseasonably mild at the moment, so you know, quite happy for that we can actually just keep kicking along, and we've got a lot of work that we can get finished up here, which is great. But yeah, you'd expect it to be a little bit cooler around about now. What I'm hoping for is that it doesn't mean that we're going to have a long, cold, drawn out winter, because that would not be fun. But fingers crossed that's not going to be the case. Alright. Now these rollers that we're pulling behind us, for the most part, are fantastic for what we need. Quite often you might find that if you would take them on the road anywhere, they're an absolute pain. You can't go very quickly, they rattle themselves to pieces, and you just gotta sit there and take your time. But for the job that we do, they're pretty much bob on. They're pretty perfect. They're cheap, they don't cost anything for me to maintain. They get a touch up of paint every so often. They're kept in the weeds in the side of a field, really. And every time we come back to them, they do the job, and they don't take much pulling either. And they certainly don't owe me anything, but yeah, they're looked after. They do get a little bit of a tidy up every so often, and it just saves us from ever having to go out there and purchase anything newer or shinier, really, which is always good. It also means when we can pull them on this little tractor here, the compaction that we bring into our fields is minimal. This tractor is so much lighter than anything else that we own there, and you know, it can skip over the fields there and get it done without causing too much damage, because that's ultimately what we're going to be trying to avoid moving forward. And I'm really looking forward to see the contrasts with the new oilseed rape starts to grow through and the old sunflowers here. That's going to be pretty interesting to see. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful evening. Sun beaming through here. You can hear all of the birds and the trees there. It's absolutely fantastic. I think what we'll do, we've probably got about another hour and a half, maybe not even that, of sunlight. So we're going to keep rolling until the sun does disappear on us. At which point, well, we'll just park up for the night and we'll come back and we'll finish this all off tomorrow morning at some stage. But yeah, that's pretty much all we can do. We're just going to keep going round and round until this is all looking nice and tidy. Alright, folks, well, it has got dark in a hurry. Stars are out. Moon is out. It's going to be good enough time for us to leave it here, really, I think. We'll come back and finish you off in the morning. I'm done. It's been a long day. We're going to go home. We're going to rest up for this evening here, and we shall come back tomorrow. The swing quite right here to get through. We are going to try and tackle that grass pasture in the morning. At least see if we can get that reseeded whilst the grass drill is still on the tractor. And then we'll see, really. A few other bits and pieces to start thinking about and taking care of, but nothing that we could do before we wrapped up and finished up with our harvest work. So yeah, we're looking good. Only probably about another hour's worth of rolling there to do as well, so we'll get that one all done in good time. Cattle will be looking to get fed and to get sorted out in the morning as well. So busy day ahead as always, so we shall see you when the sun comes up. Alright, good morning. Welcome back. It is, don't let the sunshine deceive you, it is beautifully warm, it is sunny, but it absolutely poured down last night, which is why we're not starting in the field. We're going to let that nice warm sunshine dry up the surface a little bit. It's a bit skiddy, but I thought I'd come here because this is something I've been speaking to the estate manager about. This is an old forest track through here. Not much is happening, not much forestry activity out in here for a long time. But this old thing was once just like a workman's hut, really, and it's been converted a little bit to put bees into it. But the forestry commission or the estate owners here, they don't really want anything to do with it anymore. So I figured, You know, the bees are in there. We might just drag it over to our ground at some point. So I just thought we're gonna have a look at that. I'm gonna get back in because the bees are stingy. At some point we might have this dragged over to our ground where we can, yeah, maybe get a bit of bee work going on here. I don't know how we're gonna get it across there. It looks like it's been here for a while, so we'll have to see. But I'm sure we can drag it. Stick it onto a tractor. We'll be away. But yeah, I thought we'd just come have a look at that whilst we can. Like I say, this was deforested a while ago here. They essentially just thinned everything right down. Took out majority of the trees, let a lot of sunlight into the forest floor there, so they could, you know, really allow things to grow up again. So that's what they're thinking anyway. But yeah, that's the plan. So we might be coming to pick that one up when we can. No immediate plans for it, like I say, but it's one of the small things that we're looking into now that we've got a little bit more free time. Anyway, time to head back on over there. Time to get some work done this morning, I think. As it rained a bit, we're going to leave off the rolling for a little bit there. We're just going to see if that can, if we can get going with that later on this afternoon there. So it's probably just going to be a bit too sticky to really try and push too far ahead with that right now. And I'm fine. We can leave it. I don't mind too much. And then we shall see. But yeah, off we go. We're just going to park this in the yard. Fantastic then. We'll see what the day awaits. I'm gonna try and just stitch a bit of grass into that paddock really. We went through it with our new flat lifter. I didn't really show you that because it was just a bit more land work really when we had a lot going on. We went through it, we flat lifted it all. It seemed to do a good job and just left it nice and light there really. So I'm hoping that will be sufficient, and I guess we'll have to find out. But what we're gonna try and do is just stitch a bit more grass in and see if that's going to be sufficient really, just to get everything ticking along again. That's going to be the next plan. Fortunately, we've got a bunch of seed left in the shed, so we get some grass seed put into the hopper there and we'll get ourselves away. Everything else looks pretty okay this morning. And we'll stick this in the corner and we can get ourselves away here. Perfect, that'll do us. Morning. Alright, this has got plenty of feed left over there to keep him going. Looking happy. Love to see it. I got a lot of silage bells over on the field at the far end that we're looking to get rid of very soon. Just waiting for a couple of phone calls about that. This needs a clean and a wash down. We're not going to get that yet, but what we will do is go and get a bit of a try with it really. I'm going to let it just tick through for a little while. Lift you up. And yeah, we're going to get a few bags of seed, get ourselves ready to go here. The usual sort of stuff. We'll let this warm through and then we'll go and have a bit of a dabble, see if we can get this paddock stitched up. When we get this all done, we do need to give this one a heck of a wash through. What's next on the list? Yeah, this paddock's only a couple of acres, but if we can make it look even slightly more attractive, slightly better quality grass there, then that's a win in my eyes. That's what we'll try and do. Okie dokie. Let's just creep our way on through here then. I think what this will be is it'll be a job for a couple of years really. We'll get this grass stitched in this autumn, and then we'll just probably take maybe a year or two for it to establish properly. And then we'll check the field, see how it's going again, and test it, and see if we need to add anything else in, and we'll see. Yeah, this is what we're thinking about anyway. This is how it's hopefully gonna pan out. And we'll stop about here. There's a constant desire for this tractor to go down that slope there. Anyway, let's have a bit of a blast under some what looks like fairly moody skies here. Hopefully this is going to do something. What we'll try and do is just stitch this straight in and we'll see. I guess the proof will only come through when we see if it starts to grow after another bit of rain here. The soil's nice and moist though anyway, so it should be good enough for us to just to really get this to crack along really. And I'm hoping that's all it needs. and then we'll be able to see. But as you can tell, there's parts of this grass that not just the bit that's been consistently trodden on, but yeah, I think a lot of it needs to be stitched in just a little bit better. So we're going to try this. We're going to see how it goes. I'm not sure if it's going to work very well or not, but we'll give it our best shot, and we'll report back in good time. So ultimately, we're just going to have to keep going and keep trying, really, and see how it looks. I think it's going to be okay, but you know, we'll see. There's a lot of areas here where I just got paddled right in there, so I'll be curious to see how it performs there. But until next time, I think we're going to leave it about here, really. So that's a bit of an update for what we're doing today. Lots of different things happening, and we'll bring you the updates when things start to grow. So an anxious few days await, maybe a week or so, and then we'll see how it all looks on the other side there. So until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, I hope you have enjoyed. This has been another episode of the Tenant Farmer with myself, David. If you have enjoyed it and you've yet to do so, do please hit that like button, subscribe for more from Simulation for the Nation, and we shall see you all in the next one. Catch you later.